All right, I think we're ready to go. Let's call the April 22nd Design Review Board Workshop to order. And our first order of business is swearing in of a couple of our board members.
All right, Richard Kramer. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Richard Kramer,
I, Richard Kramer,
hereby accept the honor
hereby accept the honor
of serving as a member of
of serving as a member of
the Design Review Board
the Design Review Board
of the City of Alpharetta, Georgia,
of the City of Alpharetta, Georgia,
and in so doing,
and in so doing,
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and/or affirm
that I shall faithfully perform
that I shall faithfully perform
the duties of board member,
the duties of board member,
that I will regularly attend meetings
that I will regularly attend meetings,
and uphold the ideals of community and service,
uphold the ideas of community and service,
that I will act and conduct business
that I will act and conduct business
in accordance with
the
city's Code of Ethics and Conduct,
the city's Code of Ethics and Conduct,
and that I shall support
and I shall support
the Charter and laws
the Charter and laws
of the City of Alpharetta,
of the City of Alpharetta,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia,
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
You're so sworn.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
I need you to sign.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Richard Owens. Raise your right hand. I, Richard Owens,
I, Richard Owens,
hereby accept the honor
hereby accept the honor
of serving as a member
of serving as a member
of the Design Review Board
of the Design Review Board
of the City of Alpharetta, Georgia,
of the City of Alpharetta, Georgia,
and in so doing,
and in so doing,
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I shall faithfully perform
that I shall faithfully perform
the duties of board member,
the duties of board member,
that I will regularly attend meetings
that I will regularly attend meetings
and uphold the ideals
and uphold the ideals
of community and service,
of community and service,
that I will act and conduct business
that I will act and conduct business
in accordance with
in accordance with
the city's Code of Ethics and Conduct,
the City's Code of Ethics and Conduct,
and that I shall support
and that I shall support
the Charter and laws of the City of Alpharetta,
the Charter and laws of the City of Alpharetta,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia,
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
So sworn. Congratulations. I need you to sign. Hold on.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, while Mr. Owens takes a seat, I will turn over the chairmanship to our newly sworn-in Chairman Kramer.
All right, thank you. Vice Chairman Swain for that. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Brett. Let's run through our applications that we're going to hear from during the public hearings. Brett, first one is Adora Daycare. Okay.
So Adora Daycare is back. They have, let me put this on my screen, I think. Can you all see mine now? Even though it's a little bit green, it's okay. We thought maybe the landscape architects would appreciate the green.
I think it's more than appropriate on Earth Day.
Ooh, good point. Good point on Earth Day.
Did you not know it was Earth Day?
I did remember, but I didn't
I thought
do
that
it
was the whole reason why you're doing it.
purposefully. No,
This is not purposeful. Okay.
no. No, it's just another part of the system that is failing.
Good.
So, anyway, they're back. They've redesigned the monument sign a little bit. Last time we had some questions about the monument. This picture is not showing perspective correctly. It looks really, I don't know. It looks really odd. But I think it's a lot better design. They're using bricks from the building. The side materials are going to match what's on the building. So I think it's good. They did move its location. You know, we had some discussions last time. It was out here on the corner. It's now down here, actually right in here, near their entrance. Discussions, they may do a small entrance exit style sign over here, but nothing that would, you guys, we'll just pattern it after the main monument. They did change up the landscaping a little bit and have enhanced this corner just a little bit. And then I think there was some discussion about removing a lot of the junipers and stuff that were there that were talked about to be left, and those are also being replaced. So overall, I think it's pretty good shot. They're also in their packet, I believe, is and it's this system might be failing us as well, but they had some fence details. There was we talked about fence last time and what they were going to do, and they're using the black picket style aluminum square tube flat top fence. They don't want privacy fencing, anything like that, which we think the board kind of led them to. That wouldn't necessarily be real appropriate there anyway, so that's what they've chosen for that. Correct?
Any questions?
Okay.
CIP
CIP Mental Commons. So let me flip over here. Here's the Google Maps. If you're not familiar with where Mansell Commons is, this is the Walmart that's out on Mansell Road. You've got the Nally Lexus and Hennessy Porsche out there. So there's that office park that's across the street from there. Mr. Kramer, you may remember several years ago, we did a sign package out there. Their signs are pretty good. They still, I think we did a really good job back then to get their signs appropriate even now for style. So they're not messing with those, but they are new owner, so they're going to be doing in a phased approach. They may bring some landscaping today to talk about. I don't think it's ready yet, so they'll probably be back with that, but they want to paint all of the structures. They all have a lot of maintenance that needs done, so they're going to paint all the structures. They've already worked with David on doing some fairly significant trimming of these boundary trees. They were just some of them in terrible shape and needed a lot of just predictive care. So they've got that taken care of. They're a new owner for the Atlanta area. And they are so excited that their CEO is actually trying to find a house in Alpharetta. So we assume that they'll be buying some more properties soon. So, but this is their first one, and I think they've done a pretty good job at doing it.
They actually started to paint one of the bays, this color scheme.
Yeah, I think it's this one, if I remember
It's on the
right.
very back side, yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yep. Looks pretty good. It actually helps clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is one of the properties that City of Alpharetta kind of adopted because it was originally a Fulton County piece. That was
Yeah, we had to annex this property. Yeah, so you have Roswell across the street and Roswell beside us, and then this side of the road is all the south side till you get to west side, and then we go both sides is Alpharetta. Very weird. Very strange. These borders now that we had to take stuff, it's just a nightmare for us to know where we really are. Okay, so
All right, so anything for
we'll
CIP?
get to their pictures here.
Yep.
Yeah, just, was there a lighting, what was the lighting?
There's not a lighting plan
There's a lighting
yet.
sheet in here.
Well, there's a sheet that says area to be painted and lighting plan, but that's,
But there is
They-
not
Yeah,
gonna be.
they've talked about the lighting plan and what they think, and we'll confirm it with the property manager who's sitting in the crowd now. We have a big crowd already this morning, 4. I believe their plan is to go to LEDs, but only do the the heads. And so we'll look at a photometrics once that's ready, and if that's really all they're doing, I didn't really see a big deal in bringing it here. If they were gonna change pole colors, pole styles, head styles, all of that, wall packs, everything, then I think we bring it and let y'all look at it. But right now, I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, with the LEDs, the photometrics will be
Yeah, really.
The
that's
only
it.
important thing.
And I'll tell you, we had a question, I think it was last month on somebody's, it was the, remember the Wendy's that had those couple of spots that were really high?
Yes.
Computer twig is all it took. The photometric guy called me up and he said, I need to move those like 2 degrees or something like that, and it went from 13 to like 2.
Okay.
I'm like, really? That's all it takes? Seriously? I mean, I thought the guy was gonna be out there with a wrench, tweaking them down or something, but no, he said, no, it's just, I just gotta make the bulbs do what I need them to do. Crazy. Anyway,
All right.
I think the colors are pretty good. It's going towards that style that we think is a little bit tired, but I think it's a lot better than what's currently there. So I think, I think they'll take it. They know we had a lot of discussions about maintenance of those light colors and stuff like that. So I think we'll be good. So
All right.
several different images of it. Some location maps, and then we're on to the next one.
All right.
Any questions on that one? Okay.
All right, Davison.
Davison Homes, which is, if you don't know Davison Homes, I found out yesterday, is a conglomeration of a lot of great people from several different home builders. Our building official is really excited that they're the ones that are going to be doing this project, as he's worked with several of the guys that make up that company, and they're all the best of the best from some of these other home builders. So he's pretty confident that it's really going to turn out exactly like what it looks. So they came through to me and asked about some changes, and not really changes so much as clarifications on some of the materials. Like in the written document, it talked about solid oak doors. He said, solid oak doors are going to be a maintenance problem for our people. They're going to be beautiful for 2 to 3 years, and then they're going to be a maintenance problem. I want to use this fiberglass door that's going to look exactly like it's wood. It's just not wood.
That's what
Yeah.
So the appearance that we already talked about is not gonna change, it's just some of the material.
Some of the materials, some of the stuff. And so like one of the big things that I said, I thought we should push it here, was we had the steel windows with the steel window frames and grids, and they're going to vinyl. I didn't want somebody just to read or to go out there and say, well, hey, this says steel windows and those are vinyl. That's a big problem. So I said, let's go to the board. Let's tweak this. I don't think it'll be a big deal. He's going to bring some samples, I believe, to show you. He included some pictures. I told him that pictures of actual uses of these will be key. And so he's included those in here.
And like premium vinyl, it
Yeah.
helps to not just have a regular vinyl.
Right.
Tell what they're trying to do.
Yes. And I passed the whole thing through the city consultant, and he agreed, yeah, everything's fine. It's all good materials.
And because several of us missed the original meeting in February, but this is a new
Yeah, so
application.
several of you missed Richard and I discussed it. I didn't discuss it with Alex. I probably should have, but I felt like we had an approval. Now we're a change. So I think we can all look at it because it's really a new case. What I hope you won't do is make them go through the whole thing just to explain a couple of wording changes. If you have questions, though, it's your opportunity. But anyway, that's my spiel. So I think everybody can participate.
Good, all right. Fantastic. Any questions? Nope, all right.
And the houses are really not that tall and skinny. Sir, I mean, I don't know.
This is like such an amazing community coming to
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
this
like,
looks
I
like,
don't like all the green, though.
the green is pretty,
Let me give you some sunglasses to wear.
This is like a scanned in.
Okay, any questions about that one? And then we have,
Bay Equity Home Loans.
there we go. Bay Equity, we talked about them last month. They're moving into 145 North Main Street. The house is already there. I believe, if you remember, it was the little CPA's office. So cute little ranch house on the right-hand side as you're going north. They're making some tweaks to it. They're adding a little bit of an awning over the front door, some steps, and they're changing where the accessible ramp is. I believe now it's on the right-hand side over here, going towards the parking lot. They're going the opposite direction with it, painting the house. So that's theirs, doing a little bit of landscaping. Just making it a little more office-friendly for folks to, you know, be able to put down your umbrella when you walk up to the front door or whatnot, so.
Okay. I couldn't tell whether they were painting the brick or not.
It doesn't really say it, but I believe they are. I believe that's the intent, is they're gonna paint the brick. And then a little sign, pretty appropriate. I think it'll match the downtown thing that we came up with.
So are they redoing the roof, or has it already been done?
I think the roof is done, but they are adding a couple little pieces, so they'll have to patch that in. And then we've got Angela Kraus Lincoln. They are adding, this is the Lincoln Building, they're adding a service drive-through reception area on the back. Probably normally wouldn't have sent this. I think it's pretty straightforward, but we did see the building and landscape around the building, so I felt like we had to see this portion of the building. It matches the building in materials and color, and then they're just tweaking the site around just a little bit.
And I think they're doing a little landscaping too,
A
right?
little bit of landscaping because they're tweaking the site around, yeah.
Yep.
We took a look at this landscaping just to confirm what was out there, and its materials are matching basically what's out there on one of the two Ford sites. So we felt like it was okay.
Yeah, and on this page, just to avoid some confusion later, that last elevation has the annotation reversed between proposed and existing.
This one?
Yeah, well, you can't even read it on,
Well, they've,
oh, the next one down. Yeah, you can't even read it on here, but where they have,
it's kind of lighter
they-
around the,
they've kind of designated what's the proposed elevation and what's existing to remain down at on the last elevation.
Oh,
Just-
I think I see what,
It's
yeah,
just a mistake, it's just flipped.
this part here.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's backwards.
It's just backwards, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is the existing building.
Okay, any questions for Angela Kraus? All right, Amana Academy.
Amana Academy. Amana Academy is at 285, I think it is. I think we were at 287, but I think Amana Academy is 285 South Main Street. It's behind the pharmacy that was built a couple of years ago, North Fulton Compounding Pharmacy. So they've gone through and they painted the building, made some really nice changes to that. And now they're going for a little more campus-style feel, trying to up their game, you might say, just a little bit in their appearance. And so they're doing this combination outdoor classroom, sitting area, play area kind of thing in the front, which will give, they really want that kind of campus feel when you're on South Main Street of the look. So they're doing some landscaping. We told them they needed to work on these islands as well. So they had a civil engineer that was working on it that struggled quite a bit. So they hired a local landscape architect. And he worked it up pretty good. So now we have some picture examples and some things that, to help more explain what they're doing. City loves it. We think it's going to be a great addition. We wished they would have taken it all the way to the street. But there's still some, I don't think they're really sold on not selling this property off just yet. I think they just can't really make that decision. They currently don't really want anything out there, but it is a pretty valuable piece of property just to be sitting as a parking lot, I think. So they're having some internal struggles on what they do with it.
So the school owns this site?
School owns the
Okay.
entire site, including the bank.
Oh, because we actually saw a tire or a, what
Yeah,
was
we
it?
saw a tire store at one point that was going in here.
Okay,
I think, I'm sort of glad that didn't happen with the school. It just wasn't, but it was a great looking building. We ended up getting the building really nice looking, which is what probably made it not happen. But, yeah, so
and the school occupies the entire center now?
the school occupies the back part of the center from end to end.
Okay.
Be a
The
good
back
place
part
for-
of it, okay.
Good place for a nice cream shop right in front of a school.
It would be. Be a great place. Yep, a great
Is the
place.
school using all of that floor area from end to end?
The school is using about 80% of it. So they skip an area right through here. And then they've got their administration offices, and then they're not utilizing the restaurant just yet. But they're utilizing all of this and all of the big building, with definite plans very near future that the rest of this will go to classrooms.
Okay.
So,
Hey, Brett, and they're putting a painted basketball court in the backside.
on the
Yes.
backside,
Yes, they are.
It's just part of this application.
Well,
Oh,
they
okay.
have like two half courts
Paint on
back.
asphalt, so.
asphalt that's already there.
And I assume Mr. Corkle will be recusing himself from this.
Voting.
You may be presenting.
Maybe.
Are you presenting?
Landscape portion, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, very good.
Site and civil, no.
So I think I got a lot of questions got emailed to me about the landscape, so I think, yeah, it's,
Okay.
landscape portion's gonna be,
Could take a while.
it could take a while.
I'll have a few questions.
Okay,
All right, that's that one.
all right, and then we've got 201 and 205 Marietta Street.
So 201 and 205, Fergal is not here. I'm not sure if he's presenting both or just one of them. But back in January, when they sent this in, he sent me both properties, so I left it. I've included landscape in here. You guys don't need to approve landscape, but I know that a lot of times with elevations, if there's a question of why is this part so blank, we like to kind of see what's there. Again, we've got a local landscape architect, currently he's very local, that did the plans, so I'm sure that they're DRB appropriate. They're really good. They're really good. I just heard somebody said they're really good. But so we'll be looking at either one or both houses. The city's contracted consultant has looked at both of them and approved them. So we're just doing the DRB detail thing.
So we're just gonna look at exterior elevations.
So we're just really looking at
materials.
exterior elevations. Landscape's there if you want to refer over to it. And I think since we're not presenting it, Pat could probably give a thought process. Maybe not, probably not. I think he's gonna recuse himself, from the voting anyway, but,
You said the keyword there was thought process?
well, yeah. There's,
What's the change?
Yeah.
We get the DRB now looks at all residential,
That changed recently?
In the core downtown
yeah, a
core.
couple years.
8 or 9 months, we started making it really, most of them, yeah.
That's where I've seen, yeah.
Especially in the core.
Downtown,
It's in the overlay, yeah.
Or is it past overlay?
No, it's not past the overlay. But
well,
I don't know the exact language, but, well, so we changed 2 things when we did the same thing. We've made it very clear in the code now that staff can put anything to the design review board, anywhere in the city.
well, the community development director could have done that anyway.
We thought so before, we all assumed and read that, thought there was language in there, but we couldn't really find that exact language, so we fixed that and made it so that we can send it anything across the city. And then the historic downtown, so the overlay, we've made it, it's the architecture at a minimum will get looked at by you guys. Residential as well, yeah.
So on this application, just thinking ahead here, if they bring just one of the 2 parcels, are we looking at this though as a single development such that we want consistency between, I mean, if they do what they say here, obviously they're very consistent, but if we look at just one and then the next one comes back and suppose they decide to change it and it's totally different, is that,
So
how are we looking at this?
If they only bring one, and we're gonna talk about one today, I don't think we would necessarily have to have consistency between.
Okay.
What we have to have is one of those 10 downtown designs. It's gotta be one of those.
Okay.
Right.
So it wouldn't have to be, they say that's Victorian. They wouldn't both have to be Victorian.
Okay,
Because it is a split. It's a formal
It is 2
lot
separate-
split.
2
It's 2
separate
separate
lots.
parcels. You know, it's just one developer. It's just like, if we're doing like the 1858 project, that we did. One developer, 10 different products.
different product, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want them exactly, but similar.
similar.
They gotta go together.
Yeah. They're gonna be pretty close.
Complement each other.
I mean, they're really
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, if they do
So-
this, they're,
Yeah.
they look great, yeah.
And this originally was zoned for like 7 townhomes or something, right?
Yeah, there was quite a few people that were looking at it. The townhomes that are across the creek from it, initially when they built, they were gonna include it. Then there was creek issues that they couldn't figure out how to. I think that was a big developer problem. It's like, we can't do this, I can't make my gazillions in this. So it needed a small developer to come in and just do that spot.
A gazillion.
My understanding is the one closest to the creek is Fergal's house, which I believe is this one. We're gonna see the same thing kind of across the street. I talked to those folks yesterday.
Across the
The Sutton, across Marietta Street, the Sutton, appliance repair property. Some debate there amongst themselves, whether they're gonna split that in 2 lots or just do one. They are thinking one, but yet they're thinking that one could pay for the other, so, they don't know yet. But Michael and I both have had some good conversations with them, and they're willing, they're gonna meet the downtown code, so they're willing to do whatever as well. So we'll see those probably in, I doubt May, but maybe June.
Okay, very good. All right. Any questions for 201 and 205 Marietta Street? Being none, okay. Let's adjourn the workshop session and get your coffee cups filled, stand up, get your blood flowing, and we'll get going in about 3 or 4 minutes, please, with the public hearing. All right.
Good, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, perfect.
That has, DRB two. DRB one is all listed.
Okay,
So DRB two, there's 3 files in there, the last 2 are landscape and sign.
perfect.
The first one, I think, is just a dumpster if they wanted to look at it again.
Okay. Which one, I did see the fencing, right? Did I state that right? It's on that one?
It's there. I'm not sure why that file wasn't, didn't look like it's the current one. So
I
don't know.
I'm like, what? I started talking and I'm like, wait a minute, what?
It's everything, man, I'll tell you. You guys got video card issues or something?
We have a whole system issue. So to them, the screen is all green. It's,
But
yeah,
you can see it fine.
yeah. It's failing and we can't get parts. They tried to get just the fix and we ordered that like in October. Nothing.
Wrong business. You need to be working on a computer.
Right? So, yeah.
You want one, Brett?
Please.
Okay.
This thing has got such a funky angle to it that with that light up there, you can hardly see it.
I know.
Since Easter, so I'll probably find an extra egg or two that didn't get found.
I'm like, like 2 hours a week ago. You guys have an issue going on. I mean, y'all gotta solve it.
No, it's okay. Oh my gosh.
How are you? I totally changed the located in here. It's good to see you. How's your new position?
Oh, you're the she. You're the she.
She said, never mentioned free tires.
By the way,
I'm sorry, I jacked it up.
sister and your brother, I was just like, oh
We
my
all looked
God.
alike at once.
Yeah.
And you should see, I have another brother and a
Totally threw a wrench in the plans.
like, my lips don't look alike either. Kids are like, there's no question.
It's a iced chocolate almond espresso.
We missed two.
So no caffeine.
As long as we didn't have to go back to like slow down. I'm
Sometimes it
writing
feels
out
like that.
minutes, which was fine, but
Yeah. It should have been
I'll do that this afternoon.
not in any
All right. Not much. It's hard to believe we're already almost finished with 8.
entertain the kiddos.
I like your sticky note.
I think so. It's fine. Step straight.
Hey,
You look so sharp. Are you wearing your white shoes? Yes. I love it.
Want to ask any questions and the kids can write yes.
Oh,
ooh, that'd
what
be
do you
fun.
have in there?
Like the roll
Just one
thing.
piece.
Ryan and Grayson.
In the
Yeah, they haven't been sworn yet. But
Totally.
I had this whole long, stupid ass thing that I just downloaded from the internet somewhere that like Bo and Jake got. But all these guys now have really
Get your coffee.
We'll get out of here by dinner time.
Yeah, dinner. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing. Today is Friday, April 22nd, 2022. Welcome, everyone. A gentle reminder, if you have, for your electronic devices, if you'll silence them or turn them into the mute mode, I appreciate that. Our first order of business is roll call, so everybody is here, present, accounted for. Thank you for being here this morning. I know we're a week later than normal for this, for our meeting, April meeting, but last Friday was Good Friday, so I hope everybody had
Showed up last Friday.
You did. But you don't get paid for last Friday, so.
It just
Okay.
when I went to pull up the meeting agenda, I went, where is it? Said it's not here. It was down on the list. So I went, oh.
All right, very good. Well, okay, if everybody will stand, we'll face the flag and have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you for that. All right, next up, do we have any items from staff members this morning?
We do have just one quick thing. If you look out in the hallway, you see a bunch of little heads that are going to be visiting us, I think 3 different times this morning. It's some of the elementary classes, and they're going to come in, just sit briefly in here to see how we operate, and then they'll make their way out.
Little energy coming in here.
There was energy coming in, yes.
We have to behave.
It's probably going to wake us all up a little bit.
Great, that'd be fun.
Lots of public comment possibly, right?
Interesting public comment. There could be some good questions come out of that.
Okay, all right. Very good, okay. Anything else?
We do have a birthday next week. Miss Alex's birthday.
Oh.
Should we sing?
We should say that.
All right, well,
And Miss Palmer's birthday is next week too.
Is that Taurus?
Happy birthday, y'all.
Holly.
wow, we have
That's
birthdays. All right, very good. Well, happy birthday to both of you.
Thank you. Alex is gonna be 20?
Okay. Very good. All right, well, thank you for that. Anything else, Brett?
Taste of Alpharetta,
Yes,
back on.
May 12th,
To see you all there.
Thursday, May 12th,
Thursday,
right?
May 12th.
All
Do we
right.
get special parking?
The city has relinquished
Parking's the challenge.
control of this event.
Yes.
So Jacob's Eye is running the event, so I do not believe there'll be the traditional delivery to the boards ahead.
Oh,
I'm not sure of that, but I've not heard anything of that yet.
Okay.
So there's, city staff got the invitation to volunteer if we wanted to, but nobody said, you know, you've got to do this and you've got to do that thing, so, but they are closing Highway 9, exciting, right? And we're gonna have the event on both sides of the street. So there'll be the traditional side over there, minus Old Canton, and then we'll have the green, and both of the streets on this side, will be there. Parking decks will be open. Park Plaza is open to get to the parking deck. It's suggested, though, that you take Haynesbridge Road if you use this deck, go to Haynesbridge Road. There's also lots of parking around other places. They've got a shuttle this year now from the North Winds parking lot out on Haynesbridge. We've still got the Equestrian Center and Wacky World parking that will be shuttled over. So you can use any of those spots.
I was thinking we should get like a helicopter
Drop
parachute
in.
drop, like right in the middle.
Right in the green?
Yes, right in the green.
Yeah.
And then somehow pick back up. Highly appreciated.
Oh, boy,
So,
make a drop-in appearance.
come do it. It's been 2 years, so this is gonna be exciting, to get it back going. The first of the season is this weekend at Marietta. If anybody's interested in that, the whole kind of food thing started years ago with Marietta and then Atlanta and then us, and so, it's beginning. The festivals are back.
Now, the food trucks are next week, right?
Food trucks start next Thursday. Yep. They're back.
Is that the last Thursday, or is it?
I think it's the fourth
Fourth
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, all right, lots of activity happening. Good, okay. Perfect. All right, anything from board members this morning? I'll say Happy Earth Day to all of you. So,
Thanks. Feels
Okay.
good to be on the earth.
It does feel pretty good. And we've turned
Okay.
the screen somewhat green in honor of Earth Day.
very good. All right.
If they change to a different color just don't.
Okay.
Something like that, just go with it.
Sky blue or something. All right. Very good. Okay. All right, our next order of business is to approve the Design Review Board meeting minutes of April 18th, 2022. I know a preliminary review by Mr. Swing had a couple comments to Alex. Those have been corrected in the official meeting minutes. Anything else from board members on the the March 18th meeting minutes? There being none, can somebody make a motion,
I'd
please?
like to make a motion.
To approve?
Apparently I talk loud enough. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from March 18th, 2022.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Rocco. I heard Mr. Owens a second. Actually, I heard several seconds, but I'll give credit to Mr. Owens at this point. Anyway, all right, any questions, comments about the motion? There being none, I'll ask for approvals on all in favor of approving the Design Review Board meeting minutes of March 18th, 2022. Please raise your hand. Okay, all opposed, raise your hand. No opposition. Motion passes. The meeting minutes are approved 7-0. All right, very good. All right, on to our applications this morning. Our first applicant is Adora Daycare. Are you here? Is Adora Daycare here? Come on up, or come on down, please. If you will make sure you introduce yourself, speak into the microphone, and give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
Hi, my name is Victor Talley. I'm with Hill Foley Rossi Architects. We are talking about the Adora second review to review our daycare project on 5750 North Point Parkway. We are going to be talking about the signage, which I guess you can see on your screen there, I think. Can they see the proportions okay on their screens?
Yeah, the proportions are
Not the
good here.
colors, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we'll be talking about the signage and the landscaping and the fencing around the playground. A landscape architect's here. He just stepped out. He'll be right back. He had to take an important call. If you want to, you can go back to the signage and I can talk about that while Pete's wrapping up his call.
I'll tell you what, Victor, just a minute. I'm going to make an announcement. I want to welcome all the third graders that have stepped into the meeting this morning. Let's see, from Creekview Elementary School, is that right? Is it Creekview? All right, very good. Welcome this morning.
Hey, everybody.
This is a Design Review Board meeting where we sit and hear from applicants that have projects that are happening in the city of Alpharetta. So we look at the projects from the standpoint of a site plan and landscaping and what we call exterior elevations and materials and signage as well. So we're hearing from our first applicant this morning about one of the projects they're doing in the city of Alpharetta. So welcome. You're all welcome this morning. Glad to see those smiling faces.
Meredith has to make sure everything looks great and applies with our code. So thumbs up to them.
Ooh, we got lots of thumbs up this morning.
All right, good deal.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
It's once they get adults, no longer listen.
Right. Thank you, Victor.
You're welcome.
That doesn't happen very often, so.
Well, it was appropriate for, I mean,
There you go, right?
Adora Daycare.
I would have rather applause than thumbs up, but
Okay, all right.
Standing,
No problem.
standing
Standing
ovation.
ovation?
Yeah.
Hey, we're all standing, so you got the standing thumbs up.
I can fill in the blanks.
There you go.
Okay, let's talk about the monument sign. There we go.
Sure. So, as we talked about last time, there was some concern about just the overall height of the sign and the existing canopy of the trees and visibility for that. I know that we could do a taller sign, but we've elected to lower it down to 7 feet from the 10-foot max, I believe. And then we redesigned it based on the comments that we received the first meeting. And of course, we'll have landscaping there as well.
Where's it at on the site?
If you can go to the landscaping plan, Brett.
Or am I jumping ahead?
No problem. It's on the drive cut on the north end of the site there as you're coming southbound on North Point Parkway towards, I guess, Holcomb Bridge.
You rotate yours?
On the left-hand side, right there. Yeah, just below where his mount.
Oh, right here.
Right there.
I see it.
Perfect. Yeah, there's a round planting bed, and then that rectangle inside is the actual monument sign. And we moved it based on what our comments last time because it was exists on the south end of the island down towards the intersection currently.
So, quick question, Brett.
Yes, sir.
The drawing that's up on the screen, besides the color of it, is different than the drawing I have on my submittal package.
It is?
Because I don't have
It is
a
different.
monument sign location or the plantings.
This is the latest.
Yeah, it's different.
I don't see this drawing.
That's, I emailed you guys this drawing the other day, and I uploaded the same one. I wonder what,
Yeah, I remember the email. I got the email.
I might have not republished it, though.
You're fired.
Oh, it's definitely my fault.
No,
Alex.
she's keeping an eye on you is what.
Oh, that,
saying.
yeah. That could
It's her
be.
birthday month. She didn't have to.
Right, exactly.
Okay, well,
Anyway, So are you comfortable looking at what's here?
as long as the LA can march us through.
Yeah.
If you want to pan down, Brett, I can talk a little bit more about what we've done at the base here. So we redesigned this because at that corner we talked about wanting to have more of a statement there at the corner, and we've added some species. Pete, do you want to talk any more about what you've added? Species.
Yeah.
This is Pete Billitson, our landscape architect.
Yeah, the only difference between this plan and the plan you had last time was that we added 2 monument sign locations. One, the existing monument sign location was at the corner of Haynes Bridge.
Right in there.
I mean,
And
not
it was
Haynes
on the
Bridge,
back side. It was really kind of not very visible, so we talked about that at the first meeting. Go ahead.
It's kind of down in the hole. It's not Haynes Bridge, it's North Point Parkway and Rock Mill. So at the corner, there's an existing sign now with some old landscaping and some trees, and it's kind of down in the hole. There's some utility boxes, and there's just a lot of stuff going on, and the sign is kind of hidden in there, and you kind of got to find it. So we were asked to kind of enhance that corner. So when we looked at everything, there's better visibility for the signage near the entrance further up North Point Parkway. So, and we had discussed briefly about putting it there anyway when we were here, and you guys told us we could have 2 signs. So one was there, and then the other is at the other entrance, which is on Rock Mill Road. We looked at both of those and felt like the entrance to the right was better visibility all the way around. So we added a sign there. It's a smaller sign, I believe, but that's the 2 sign locations. We added some landscaping around each one of those signs.
So can you walk us through the landscaping around the signs and at the corner? Because, again, I don't have the drawing that you're showing on the screen, and what's on the screen is a big washout.
The entrance on North Point Parkway and the sign there basically is a bunch of junipers, low, some dead junipers. That's the area where the dead junipers were in this whole stretch of old junipers. And so the sign's in that location. Along the base of the sign, I put soft touch hollies, which don't get that big and can be managed at a relatively low rate, and then some yellow golden sweet flag, which will grow in front of that and stay relatively low. And then along the frontage is some dwarf maiden grass, which will line the existing shrubs that are there. They'll just kind of put something there along there to kind of enhance that between the trees and then up to the sign. So I think that'll be nice. And then the rest of the junipers along the sidewalk and all will stay in place. So this will all occur behind the junipers and around the sign. At the other sign, similar, except I added nandinas instead of the soft touch hollies in front of the signs, in front of the base of the sign. I just have nandina, and then I have golden sweet flag in front of the nandina.
Which nandina did you put in?
Harbor dwarf. And then at the corner, I kind of really did, I think, beefed it up. So I had the two existing rows of shrubs are going to remain along the parking lot. I added a row of anise, which is kind of a shade-tolerant, larger shrub that will kind of create this hedge and completely screen the parking lot. I know it's down in a little bit lower elevation, but it will eventually kind of help screen it and create a background drop for this area. And then I've added loropetalum, 2 rows of loropetalum on either side of that bookend. I put pink muhly grass with kaleidoscope abelia in the middle, in between, and that's kind of more of a yellowish, lighter color leaf, smaller leaf, and then it's got the 2 grassy muhly grass on either side with the purple loropetalum behind. So, and then I thought it would be nice to have grass up along the sidewalk, so I left grass, and then it'll be replaced as needed.
That grass is in good condition now,
It's there. I mean, it's stable.
but is it good condition?
It's winter time last time I was out there, so it wasn't really green, but I don't know. I would say yes. It's been there a long time.
And the site is irrigated? Is the site irrigated?
The site's irrigated, but that area might not be because it's out in the right of way. So that's another reason to kind of leave what's there.
And are you confident the muhly grass, the pink muhly grass, is going to do well with the canopy overhead? Because I know you put the Elysium in because of the shade. Are you confident that muhly grass is going to do okay?
This is further out toward the street, which gets more sun.
Okay.
And so there's already some maiden grass out there now, and it's doing well, so I just assumed that this would be.
Okay.
I didn't spend all day out there checking the sun, but I think it's getting some western exposure on this side.
This is a noticeable improvement, and I'm glad that you have the current plan presented here, because the plan that I saw, as Patrick mentioned, showed the corner being the same. This is a great way to dress it up. And you mentioned before using native plants because we're in the North Point District. There's an opportunity to pull more native plants in here than you've got because it's about 30%. We rely on a lot of more green stuff than we need to. And as you mentioned, the anise is going to get big. Do you foresee keeping that squared off or just letting it grow and cutting it down a little bit on the top as it matures?
I probably won't be involved with that, honestly.
Looks thick.
But I would guess that it will be pruned like everything else around the area. So it'll probably be pruned, and I would guess it would probably be pruned 4 to 5 feet maybe. That would be my guess. If they pruned it lower than that, it'll probably get down into destructive type.
Sure.
But I think, a lot of restaurants have anise, and it stays pretty tight around their buildings, and it usually looks pretty good.
Yeah. It's also good to see you using the Harbor Dwarf Nandina. We've got a bunch of squirrely varieties of Nandina that look horrible after a little while. This one doesn't. This one is dignified and continues its good appearance.
I tried to use more native plants, but as you said, we need more evergreen in the code, and a lot of the natives are not evergreen. So.
Yeah, balancing your evergreens with deciduous in the front, like the Fothergilla and the
Hydrangea.
and the Virginia Sweetspire.
Yeah.
And those things works well. So I commend you for the enhancement that you've given to those key areas.
Thank you.
Okey-doke. One of the other items discussed last month was the fencing. We have some images of the,
Oh,
That's on the same,
That's on-
should be on that same file, Brett.
just so we can see that.
If you zoom
I
out.
just have,
And I
Okay.
apologize again for the colors, but because we looked at it briefly last time, but.
Spike top.
But we do have the aluminum, the black aluminum picket fence like we discussed last time.
Okay.
That they will do around the playground areas. And then there are images of example playground equipment, which is all like tan and green. It's not, I know that there was some concern in the first meeting about the color. So that's all pretty subdued.
And the intent is use the spike top? Not the flat top?
I think it's,
Tony, do you remember I thought they preferred it if they will allow it. If not, we can do a flat top.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
For some reason, I thought it was flat top.
Keep,
Maybe the spike keeps the kids from escaping.
I always say keep the inmates in, I guess.
It's honestly either or. I don't think, they might have had the preference for the ornamental type, but if it needs to be a flat top rail, it can be.
Okey-doke. All right, any other questions for the applicant this morning? So we've got landscaping, and then we've got the monument signage. And you've got two monument signs, correct?
Correct. We have the larger sign, and then the smaller directional sign will be the one on Rockmill.
That's the directional sign. All right.
Correct, yes.
So my only comment is, all that, I agree with Richard and his comments is, the other thing is on that corner, I think you just add new sod along that corner. You got everything else going in brand new. Sod isn't that expensive, but you might as well make that whole corner sing instead of the very foreground, kind of relying on what might be patchy and what might be okay. Seems to me you just go ahead and do it and call it a day.
that's fine.
So I was trying to remember from the application originally, the sign is the same sign that's on the building?
Correct, yes. The
Okay.
same,
All right.
same logo.
Same colors and everything, okay.
Both signs are smaller.
Correct.
All right, Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 220015, Adora Daycare, motion to approve the signage as presented today. And the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Corkle. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right. Got landscaping now.
I'll take a stab at it.
Okay.
Regarding DRB 220015, Adora Daycare landscaping that we approved. The landscaping with the condition that they also add new sod at the corner as discussed. End of motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Mr. Owens. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition, motion passes 7-0. And I realize I forgot to ask for public comment, but anyway. That's true. That's true. All right, all good. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
So much. Thank you, guys.
All right, our next applicant this morning is CIP Mental Commons. Come on up, please. Welcome. Good morning.
There was a Adora one, wasn't there? Okay.
All right, if you will make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourselves this morning, and then give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
Okay, great. My name is Laura Halbrook. I'm the property manager with CIP Real Estate, and Mental Commons has become my baby. So, and this is Mackenzie Smith, and she's our assistant property manager, and she assists on the asset as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. All right, give us an overview of what you would like to do with Mental Commons.
Okay, so with Mental Commons, CIP's new to the Atlanta area, as Brad has already kind of introduced CIP as, and so it's always a value add when we come in, purchase an asset, and our objective is to do all these capital improvements, and we hold the assets as we continue to add that continuous value, whether it's increasing the rents. And so it's kind of I'd say it's an art in a way, with this being even commercial property, excuse me. And so our first step is cleaning up the asset, and we want to kind of revitalize. And the first thing, it's always those first impressions. It's landscaping and paint. So to start with, the painting is what we feel is the first thing to do. So we've just been doing a lot of walking with different vendors, getting a lot of pricing. CIP's looking to spend $750,000 in capital improvements just for this year. So really, the more we have peeled back the layers, the more things we are finding, and the more money we're going to have to get approved so we can do all these other projects this year. So it's really been a tedious project, and as you mentioned earlier, seeing the different paint samples on the back of the 1011 building, well, our company, our CEO, our COO, our team is heavily involved in every little detail, because I'm coming in, I'm like, here, I'll just surprise you all. I got it taken care of. My former career was interior design, so I'm like, I got you. You know, I'll get this taken care of. And they're like, no. I mean, so we had to do all of these paint schemes so we can give them a visual, and so we can select the colors, which we did bring pictures of those different schemes. So I'll get down to that. But so the first thing is, it's currently a kind of a putty tan color, and since the Mansell Road is just, it's kind of like part of the heart of Alpharetta, I think, especially for, it's more of a car industry, is, you know, what we found, you know, just doing our little site plan of the area, which is kind of what we do. There's 32,000 vehicles pass along Mansell Road every day. So this property's just, it's kind of just been fallen to the wayside. Not that, it's just, you just don't really pay attention to it. I didn't know it existed until we got this, and it's positioned in a great location, being across from the Walmart. There's a stoplight right out front, so that makes it a little bit more desirable. We have 30 tenants. It's 16 acres, 9 buildings. So it's a massive project. And again, like Brad mentioned, the trees on the side. So a lot of the trees have just dropped a lot of material onto the roofs, the metal, the stand-up roof section. So that's all getting repaired. There's a lot of algae. We're doing a lot of roof repairs now. A lot of it's because of all these trees overhanging the properties. So what we're having to do is come in, we're cleaning the buildings, the roofs, we're simultaneously doing metal repairs. Some of the metal's been dented from limbs dropping, pine cones hitting it. So again, all these different elements kind of factor into the color of paint that we're using. I mean, I was all for going for this little French look of, you know, like a cream and a blue, but once we tried the schemes, it's like, oh, okay, that light blue color shows more dents. So, you know, we can't guarantee a pine cone's not going to fall and hit any of the metal. So it's kind of just been this process and a lot of due diligence in every aspect of what we're doing on this project.
Very good. Laura, let me interrupt you just a minute to say, I'd like to welcome the third graders from Creekview Elementary School this morning here. Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
This is the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing, and so we hear from applicants that are presenting or renovating or doing new projects in the City of Alpharetta. So we're hearing from one of the applicants this morning about what they want to do to their 9-building complex on Mansell Road. So, but we appreciate you being here and hope you have fun today on your field trip. All right. Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
Did you bring paint sample?
We did, yes, and we also did a board yesterday. We just threw this together.
Okay.
I don't know the best way, so I just tried to just have a summary of the before. Like I said, it's kind of putty. It doesn't look bad. It's just dated. And we just really want to revitalize, and I think especially after a pandemic, things just need to be bright and cheery. And that same thing that goes along with our landscaping that we're working on, and that is we're probably shooting for a fall install, but I'm going to try to submit that application for May. Again, our CEO and COO, they want to know and count for every plant, so it's very key. So this is just kind of what we came up with, and this is just a rendering. Our COO really wanted us to bring our pictures of our scheme, so I got it. So this is going to be the base color, Greek Villa, and as you can see, we'll go ahead and show you some of these because you can kind of see it more. Wish I had a. Yeah. So what we did was, and again, it's just like a process of elimination. So this is actually what the base Greek Villa looks on the property. As you can see, some of these other ones, it has more of a gray tone to it. Here it has more of a pink tone, but by itself it looks great, but next to it, so we decided we're going to go with this Greek Villa, Sherwin-Williams, and we're going by the Sherwin-Williams specs. So we had Sherwin-Williams come out and create very design-specific specs for the painting, and that's what the contractors all priced out. So we decided, so this is the Greek Villa, but then this is the web gray. And this will be used on all the trim, the stand-up roofing, the trim cap at the top of the building. So it's just kind of an idea, and I can bring these up there if you want to get a closer look. I don't know, do you want to pass those? Sure.
So Laura, that's the, that looks like the center bay. You did this on the back of one of the buildings.
Correct.
Okay.
So we did 6 different, well, then we went back and did 2 more little small
Oh
samples.
my gosh, okay.
So it's just, yeah, an idea. Here's a couple more. Yeah.
So this is kind of there's like 3 bays that you painted. So this
Correct.
is the center bay of that 3-bay area.
The center bay, yes, sir. Center bay is the Greek Villa for the base, and then the one on the left is the web gray. So it's a little bit darker. This is kind of, we use this on a lot of our other properties. So, you know, our team, they're from California, which they're all moving from California to Georgia. So that's, you know, they're kind of learning our ways, and like I said, the landscaping's even been a process because what they use in, you know, Vegas and all in California, so it's kind of been a learning experience for them. So this is, like I said, this was after going through this process, and it was a process of elimination. That's why I think they all just kind of really liked the Greek Villa and then the web gray. trim on everything.
Laura, the third color you're showing is not being used, the Argos that's up there?
This Argos is for the dock court. So we'll just do that a little bit darker for the dock court, just because you, as Brett mentioned, there is more maintenance.
For the
when you
what?
get, I'm sorry?
For the what?
Truck court, we call it a dock court.
Oh,
Here, so I switched to the overhead, so there's a dock area
There's several dock areas,
in here,
and then there's some on the other,
yeah, and then there's
right.
in the middle here, in the middle.
And those are not, right now, those are just natural brick. They're not painted.
Right.
So, Josie, you're planning on them painting that?
Yes.
That's what you're planning on painting?
Want to brighten everything up.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I was hearing a new architectural term or.
No. That's just the loading dock area. And it's, I'll tell you what, I drove back in there, it's very busy when I drove back in there.
It is very busy, and I have a couple
Yes,
tenants.
I was in the way.
Yeah, a couple tenants I have to, let's just try to keep things tidy and nice, and we're having a really good problem to have. Our tenants all want to expand, and I mean, we pretty much, we only have one little small vacant at this point, so we're almost at 100%, but people, I think now that they see that the property's getting cleaned up, and it's a great asset. We're just looking to add that value to it.
Very good. You've actually got a church back in there too.
Yeah.
Your tenants is a church.
I know, I hear the bells.
So is it basically what's painted the putty color today is what's going to be the Greek villa?
Yes. Brick villa.
And then everything that's the brick is going to be the Argos, pretty much, okay.
And then wet gray, all the metal trim, everything will, and even in the dock court, this will be the color of the doors, any metal stairs, the railing, awnings, everything this will just be the primary, metal color.
Assume downspouts, gutters.
Everything.
Laura, just kind of a code enforcement question. Are we cleaning up some of those tents and things that kind of got,
I can, yeah.
Tents.
Work with those, because I think it's like Window Genie, it's these auto detail. I know it's a little auto area, but our company too, part of our objective in adding that value is also creating a certain tenant mix. So I don't know what their plans are, maybe letting some of their leases expire and.
yeah, I would just encourage that if we're going to look at some continuing of some outdoor uses, maybe we try to do, since there's some standing seam metal out there, maybe we try to do a little more permanent awning style
Oh, that's a great idea.
things, so we don't have a hodgepodge mix, because you do see some of that from the road.
Yeah, you do.
You know, and at least that would clean it up. The use outside's not a problem, it's just more the,
Eyesore.
well, yeah, and some of them don't take care of them as well as others, and then you've got a sporting goods place out there that's,
That
you know, gets a little out of hand sometimes, and, yeah, so
That's a great idea. I love that.
I do like that.
Well, I'll get pricing on
phase
that.
3 or so.
That'll be next year. I'll try to get it in for next year, but they may go ahead and do it.
Okay.
So,
All right.
okay, so, let's see. So that's pretty much the colors, just did it the right of way. Let's see, so the areas to be painted, I guess page 9, yeah, so it's all of the buildings. Mackenzie's our marketing, she's working on her master's in marketing, so I helped her, she helped put this together.
Very thorough.
Yeah. So, and on the application, it had for a lighting plan, and we're not ready to deal with the lighting just yet, but there is lighting everywhere, so I just tried to note that on this plan. I know through the main drive, this 1003 down to 1007, MIMS, the former owners, they did add and replace LED pole lights, and they look really good. They're really nice fixtures. However, tenants are commenting that it's dim, so I just haven't had a chance, but we'll look to brighten that up. I think they have right now 4 different fixtures on each, just pretty much on all these buildings. I mean, they just did a hodgepodge of fixtures. So I did already budget, we did factor that in for our capital, replacing the light fixtures, but it might be next year, because it's a pretty big expense as well, but I just haven't got there yet. So my first step was getting the paint, the buildings, the roof and metal repaired. We just did the contract for that, and then after today, we'll do our contract for our painting, because it's probably going to take about 2 months to complete this project. And at the same time, our irrigation, they have not run the irrigation in over 10 years, and we found that it runs off a well. So we just had a well digger out, and he was able to, the well actually works, but we have to replace the pump and the controller. So I have to get all of that running so my landscapers can come in and pressurize the irrigation system. I know there's like 40 zones, and we just got to see that. That's part of our budget as well. We're probably looking to spend $100,000 in irrigation alone.
Okay, very good. But today, you're just looking for
Yes.
approval on the paint colors?
Yes.
That's what you want to do today?
Yes.
Okay.
I just have to
Good.
get the full picture.
Okay, very good. Well, we appreciate that and appreciate you sprucing up things for your center as well. So, all right, any questions for the applicant this morning?
Laura, I have a brief tangential question. Have you ever eaten the biscuits that come out of the company that's at 10:07?
10:07?
They're really
No.
good. Okay, that's all I need to say.
Okay.
I was quite impressed to learn that this great biscuit product that we found in the local grocery stores comes out of that company. So that's enough said about
Is
that.
that
Very good.
Maryland's? Yeah. It's all gluten-free. Yeah. I smell her food. It smells really good.
All right,
Okay, very good. All right, so
Elaborate on that just a little bit with a brand maybe, or, who,
Yeah.
what,
I don't remember the brand of the company, but I looked on the label because they were so good, and I was blown away to find that they were local.
That's good. Okay. All right, before we have a motion, is there any public comment about this application? Any comments? There have been no public comments. All right. Mr. Sweeney or
Mr.
somebody?
Chairman,
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion for DRB 220017 for CIP Mental Commons, that we approve the color scheme as presented today for the exterior field color, the parapet metal roof color, and the dock court color.
Second?
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Rhodes, second by Mr. Owens. Any questions or comments about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right, thank you for your presentation this morning. Appreciate it.
See you guys next month for
Okay.
landscape.
Brett, do you want to keep one of the photographs or anything of what you've got? Okay, very good. All right, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Pretty sure.
Okay, next up is Davison Homes. Are you here? Davison Homes? No, they're not.
Is
Okay.
that Davidson Homes outside?
That's a man out there, I think.
Davison Homes.
Somebody at the door.
All right, let's see. Who is Davison Homes? No? All right.
Okay.
We'll skip over. How about Bay Equity Home Loans? Are you here? All right. Come on up or come on down, please. Welcome this morning.
How is everyone this morning?
We're doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well. My name is Trip Johnson, the Southeast Regional Manager for Bay Equity Home Loans. I'm talking about 145 North Main Street.
Okay, talk to us about your application this morning, please.
Yes, sir. So it's fantastic property. I'll just say it just needs a little TLC. And so I know this is exterior only, but we're completely gutting the inside and then the outside. So what we're talking about here today is the exterior. So our plans are to completely paint everything, add a stoop right at the front porch, hopefully relocate the ramp coming in so it's not the focal point right in the middle of the home. New roof, all new landscaping, just really freshen the place up so it goes more in line with what's in downtown Alpharetta now.
Okay, so let's start with the site maybe. So you're, site-wise, it looks like you're relocating the exterior ramp from the kind of the front door now, or I call it front door, to,
Yes, so that's what we'd like to
Secondary.
do. So right now, it runs the length of, right in the center of the property. And so if you're walking out of the front door directly to the right, there is a doorway that's accessible. It's right there next to the parking lot. And it goes right into the main hallway. So the main hallway, think of it as an L, and it reaches all the offices there. And so it's still accessible, which is the most important thing. But then again, it's not running the whole length of the home. So that's what ideally we would like for consideration.
okay? Anything else on the site then that you're doing, aside from landscaping?
Outside of cosmetic and a new roof and adding that stoop to the front porch, no, sir.
Okay, all right. Any questions on the site? All right.
I got a quick, how far back from the street is this?
Well, I drove by there.
Yeah, not very.
There's kind of a street here.
Well, and
Of
with
course, by the time the
DOT,
widening-
oh my
widening's
gosh,
done,
they're,
I don't know.
I think
Well,
DOT's taking half of your front yard.
That center lane, depending on how you look, either starts or stops right by us. So we're losing a decent chunk of the front yard. But
Getting closer, right?
it's getting closer.
Sort of.
Well, here's a road.
I think it's gonna end up, this is about the right of way here, so about here, so I think they're gonna end up with,
So that monument sign's gone.
the monument
Yeah.
sign's going away, it's gonna have to move back.
Yeah, you probably see this all the time.
That was actually one of my questions, because the sign is down, but the posts are still up. And so that's
Yeah, it's
fine.
probably, I mean, it's, you gotta get 5 feet behind the right of way.
yeah,
But
we
I
did see
think
it. Yep.
where it's at currently is probably in their
It's-
easement.
It's probably a foot or two, so we'll move it back.
Trip, are you planning to put the monument sign, a monument sign back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But
And it
that's not part of this submittal today, then, it sounds like.
It should be in there.
It's, there is, yes.
It's at the end.
It just doesn't, oops, I just.
It doesn't have a location.
Right, that's,
And that was one of my questions is, if it's 5 feet, then we'll move it five foot back.
I'm not even sure if we could spot a location currently just because
Yeah.
of,
It's
Well,
not,
there's a silt fence.
construction's not done
Yeah.
yet.
Okay,
thank you.
It's there.
Do you have, roof and paint colors
I do.
for the exterior?
I do. So what I'll do is, so on the presentation here, and I don't know if, I know we're a little green here.
Green and
It's not green, I promise y'all that, okay? So I can bring,
Oh, that's,
That's perfect.
Why don't you
so that's
hold,
exactly what we're going for right there, just a fuzzy green.
why don't you stand right there, hold things up, and, why don't you stand right there, hold things up, and then we can pass those colors around, so.
somebody needs to clean the inside of their closet.
So we hired a local designer to help us, and so if y'all can see, obviously this isn't the home, but, so this is it here, if y'all can see. So the Benjamin Moore color is called,
overhead
work? I stopped by Sherwin-Williams, and it's called Cider Space.
So do you have a paint chip sample? Yeah. All right, why don't you hold that one up?
If you wanna walk that around up there.
Well-
If you, everybody turns on their mics, that way if he talks, it'll pick it up.
Oh, okay.
So as he's
Sure.
walking through.
All right, so that's the.
Okay.
Let me give you the trim color as well, and these are the same ones, just Sherwin-Williams, just close to my house, so I just.
This
grabbed
is
that.
cyberspace.
Yep, and that's, matches the raccoon fur.
So it's the same as raccoon fur, basically?
Benjamin Moore is the raccoon,
Got it. Okay.
and so I just had Sherwin-Williams match it, but they're the same thing.
so the.
So then,
All right, so,
I'll pass this around. Can you tell us what's going where? So
Oh, absolutely.
the main brick is,
So right now, the main brick is, I call it the old orange brick. And so the raccoon fur is, so someone asked earlier, would like to paint all the brick the gray color.
okay,
And then the trim will be black.
they're very close to each other. Very similar. Here, I'll pass.
Now, what I like about the design
This is the main.
is all new gutters, and it'll be a bronze color, as well as the stoop. We would like for, like, the stoop's not very large, but metal roofing on that is also bronze. And then all the shutters, all new doors will be a white birch stain. So you'll have a nice contrast between the dark, bronze, and then the light doors and shutters.
Similar to the cabinet. What's a cabinet?
Yes.
What's his name? Cabinet guy?
And what's
Across
that?
from the,
That's just the current
stain.
shutters painted?
The current shutters will be sanded and stained, and then the new doors will be knotty pine.
Same color. Very similar.
I love the colors.
Yeah, thank you. I do too.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because if you are facing the property, our neighbor to the left, it's not painted brick, but it's very light brick.
Yes.
And then our neighbor to the right is white painted brick. And then the property at the corner of North Main and Cumming isn't brick, but it's all white. And so that's why we wanted to do something a little different than
I
just.
love that. It's very similar to the Crow's cabinet.
It
Where
is.
they painted
Yep.
the dark.
And so right across the street is the sushi place, Monkey 68. It'll be similar to that, but just a hair darker, and then with those light accents.
I guess the only thing I would say is there's not a lot of contrast between those two colors. I'm afraid it's going to look very dark.
I thought the same thing, but
You know, the body.
the designer we hired
I think you're.
said I don't know what I'm talking about. So
I mean, I personally.
he said, "You're
prefer
paying me. Let me make decisions."
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Same thing up here.
so you've got shutters. So are you keeping the shutters the same color as?
If we can, but our contractor said, "Hey, let's the shutters are black now."
Because it looks like you're missing some shutters right now on your existing building.
So I don't know if so, then we have budgeted in for all new shutters if
Okay.
need be.
All
It's the
right.
same thing when we get landscaping with sod. Like, we're probably just gonna sod everything. We have it all budgeted in. So if there's missing shutters or any of the existing shutters can't come out because they can't sand them and get the stain, then we'll just replace all the shutters.
Oh, okay.
The lighter one, it's the Benjamin one, but the lighter
Yeah,
one.
I was just confused. I was like, wait, I thought you were having,
And then Tripp, what did you say the door color, the front door color was going to be?
White birch stain, and then knotty pine is the material.
Okay.
Is it-
So that's a brand new front door you're going to put in, okay? And then the door that's accessing the handicap ramp is also going to be
Yes.
painted white?
the,
Doors and the shutters will be that. That will be
Yes.
the
No.
contrast.
yeah.
The doors and the shutters. Well, the shutters are black, right?
No, but they're going to be white birch.
Oh, they're going to be
We're
white
gonna
birch.
sand them down and.
Just
sand
like in this picture.
Yep.
But for your door, is it just a solid door? There's no glass in it at all?
No, there is glass.
Oh, okay.
They didn't show a door.
What?
Yeah,
is it?
the rendering didn't. I have a example of the door here on my.
That's
my
the
screen.
white birch.
Yes.
Okay.
And notice the copper gutters. So I think between the gutters, the shutters, and the doors, there's quite a bit of accent going on other than just the black.
I
or the dark.
agree.
And I might have missed it, and I apologize. What color is the railing and the roof?
So the roof itself is estate gray, so it's a charcoal gray asphalt architectural shingles, and then on the stoop we'd like to put a bronze metal
Yesterday.
roof on just the stoop, though, not the entire thing.
Is that in here?
Standing seam metal kind of.
Yes.
It'll be like this. It'll look.
And what about the railings?
Chimney.
So the railings, all the railings for the ramp will all be that birch color, and then we'd like to put black, metal railings and not the wood spindles.
Yeah, because the rendering shows black metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the black metal on the,
What's gonna be birch? Cause that's interesting. What part of the railings will be birch?
no, the spindles will be black metal, but the railing itself, so like the wood part of the ramp.
That sounds really busy.
Do we have that?
Can you walk that?
Yeah, sure. So we have.
And I'm getting more confused as we keep talking about all the elements. It's not hard to do.
Yeah. So we were talking about is one of these, if the board thinks that a black railing on would be a better design, then we can certainly
Keep it all, I think each.
Do concrete or wood?
the stoop
Yeah.
over.
I mean,
It's
no,
wood.
the
It's
actual,
The porch.
the porch, the,
wood.
oh, okay. Is because I was thinking it was concrete based on this picture.
I agree with you, Katie. I think that railing all needs to be one continuous.
I just think when you're driving by, you want the railing to go away, not stand out. You don't want it to look like a horse fence around. So in my opinion, to do it black, it would make the building stand out more and the railing just kind of go away.
I agree.
I think it would get too busy with the.
I agree.
There's enough other accent going on, like the copper gutters to stand out, some of that stuff is probably what you want to stand out more.
It's a good idea. Okay, black railing on the ramp.
And Tripp, you've actually got a fireplace or a chimney as well. What color are you painting that? It may not be active, but on the left, if you're looking from north.
It shows black on the
It should be the body color of the,
Yeah, it should be the body color, which would be that gray.
the rendering shows it dark. The roof is fairly light.
Except it has a cap, so the cap will probably be a trim color?
The cap is black right now.
I would say the cap would be black.
The cap is black
It's
right
not
now.
functioning, so, in the rendering that I have here, well, the rendering doesn't have the cap on it.
Do we need white today?
Yes.
The picture sort of does.
I can't tell if it has,
Looks like it's a green cap right now.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you it's not gonna be that. I think it should be,
The
Should
cap
be
is
black.
The cap is black right now.
Maybe
The primary part of it is.
yeah, I think so.
This is simply an opinion, but I think when all of this is black, just based on this rendering, that stark concrete is gonna stand out, almost like it's white. It'd be cool if you stained it or something to
it's,
make
he
it.
said it was, that's why I asked that question. He said it's wooden, it's not concrete. It's a-
The walkway, like the steps are
Yeah.
wooden?
Yes, it's a wooden deck.
That's why I asked him, because I was like, oh, on here it looks like white concrete. But he
Okay.
said it was wooden
Okay.
steps.
I
And
didn't
then
know that
those
part.
steps will be stained or just left as they are, or what's the idea on the porch surface and the
Porch
steps?
floor and the steps.
Especially the riser. Just left as is.
We were gonna leave it as is.
What is it?
I mean, it's pine, but we can certainly stain it,
It's like a wood deck.
yeah.
Would it match the door? It needs to match the door and the window, the shutters.
So we'll stain, yes. Okay, so stain the porch.
Quick sand and stain. And
Yeah, easy enough.
And what is your front, what do the doors look like? You said they had glass in them. Are they like, is it a 3/4 or what is it?
So right now we have just the top, say 25 or 30% to get natural light in. And then the rest of it is solid, knotty pine.
Well, it looks like the side door is just a solid door.
It is right now, but it'll be new.
What do you got?
But what will the new one look like?
Yesterday.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You could have moved the silt fence so I could see everything.
Sorry about that. It was from my car.
Were you driving and texting, taking pictures at the same time?
I wasn't texting, I was
Are you
stopped.
using a handheld?
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
So the top
Got it.
portion of it
Okay.
has glass, allow natural light in,
They probably.
and then everything else will be stained.
Katie, that's what the door,
See.
both doors will be that?
All the
Okay.
doors,
Okay.
yes,
Looks a little-
including the ones around back.
Okay.
Obviously, they're not visible from the street, but everything will match.
All right, and then talk to us about, so the front door now is gonna have a covered porch area, right?
We would like that for consideration, yes, sir.
Okay, and what's the design of that, or what's that gonna look like?
So it's a stoop. So we're extending out the roof lines slightly to give a covered area. So whether it's, aesthetically, I think it's very pleasing, but also if it's raining or anything such as that and clients are coming in. So it'll just be a slight, for lack of better terms, overhang, the metal roof. And I believe it's roughly about 5 by 5.
What if you were to gable that area? Make it a gable, kind of continue the asphalt shingle roof over that area as a small gable?
So we could certainly consider that, yes, sir. I mean,
Think so?
right now we have it as a metal roof.
Just a flat metal roof is what you've got
Coming,
right now.
yes, sir, coming off of it to kind of tie in, and it's a bronze metal to tie in with the bronze and the new gutters. But if the board thinks that essentially a gable would be,
Just think it keeps the theme of what you've got there now. I know this is a 60s, 70s ranch style house that you're trying to manipulate.
yeah.
Just a thought, okay?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I've heard conflicting things here. I want to get it clarified. The gutters and the downspouts are what? Are made of what? What color?
Bronze.
Bronze, not copper. Bronze.
Painted bronze,
Yes, sir.
not replaced with copper.
Right.
Copper is very expensive.
Yeah, I just wanted to just wanted to make sure I heard copper and bronze. I
We'll
wanted to
paint
make
it and give the same kind of look.
I get which one they were.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant this morning?
I have a question.
Oh,
We didn't talk about the windows, or I didn't hear you talk about the windows. Are they being replaced? Are they being painted this trim color?
They're being painted the trim color.
Okay.
Right,
They're
right
wooden?
now, they're in good shape.
Okay, they're wooden windows
Yes.
today? Okay, thank you.
And
Everything will be sanded and painted.
talked about landscape.
have the shingles been replaced already, or same shingles? Okay.
No, nothing exterior has been done yet.
They look in pretty good shape, to be honest with you.
Are they currently clean?
They're not architectural though, and they're way lighter. I'm encouraged to hear they
I
haven't.
wonder if the roof needs to be cleaned. It looks like it's got stains on it.
It's going to be an entire new roof.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's say,
Yeah.
okay.
A
Re-
charcoal architectural shingle.
Replaced.
Yeah, completely new roof.
Yeah, I guess I asked, has it been replaced yet? Not, are you replacing? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you while you're working on the roof, you've got some caps or hoods back in the back there. Why don't you just paint those black? Make
Okay.
sure they,
Yes, sir.
because I can see those from the street level.
And the vent pipes, there's a bunch
Yeah,
of vent
yeah.
pipes on the one side. Right?
Okay. And one thing we haven't discussed is your landscape plan. Brett, can you pull up the landscape plan for us? And well, we kind of talked about that, but
And it's green too.
Good thing we have our iPads.
Well, this one ties into it. A lot of this will be green.
My only comment, well, I've got a couple comments, but it just doesn't look very good. It doesn't, there's no balance to it. It's like there's something here and there's a something here and there's a something here and there's a something here. So it seems to me you want to balance the both the steps going up and then I see some boulders that are right off the walk and there's no planting in front of them. It just doesn't play off very well.
So we hired a company, Green Who's, I think is what it is, to design it. And so I'll be honest, I'm not a landscape guy. I mean, I have pictures of everything that they've put on there. But any recommendation, I am happy to take back.
It's, and I'll let Richard speak as well, obviously, but it's just, there's something here, then there's something here, then there's something here, and as you look across the face of it, and there's some big boulders in front. It's just not very well done, in my opinion. So I would just add balance to both sides of that porch and maybe get something along that walkway that's lower growing. And I don't know what these boulders look like, but a lot of times landscapers come out and they see boulders on a plan, they take some rocks and drop them on the ground, and I'm done. It looks like a rock that's been dropped on the ground.
Yeah, gotcha.
I would lose the boulders entirely, in my opinion.
Okay.
If it's preference, client preference or whatever, that's different, but.
I'll be honest, like I said, I want it to look well, right? And so boulders, no boulders to me is irrelevant. It's whatever. So no,
And that was kind of, I was leading up with my question, how close is this to the right of way?
Right.
Because if it's set way back, I'm not as concerned about it. If you all happy, then, but as it gets close to the right of way,
let's lose.
I really start digging into it a little bit more, and
And then, do you have any recommendations for as far as balance when you said like lower growing, just so I can go back to the landscape?
I would just give them that feedback. I mean, I've got lots of ideas, but I would go back to them and just give them the feedback, and we can discuss it.
So for you two, Richard and Pat, are these, I think we would like to encourage, especially in downtown, and I think you guys would agree, the more native southern traditional plants. Are these in that realm, these particular plants?
Somewhat. The challenge at times with evaluating plant selection is that it can be subjective over being objective. You've got 6 different plants in here for the expanse of this short building. And oftentimes, what is shown on a planting plan like this are the favorite plants of the person who put it on paper because it's something that they got excited about. That I looked up some of these plants because some of the varieties I just don't often deal with. The seafoam camellia is facing west. It needs, it's a nice plant selection, but it needs some protection from heavy sun, and it may not be getting that because it's facing west. And it's like there are too many pockets of plants from one side to the other that are competing for attention. So if there is a flow of a theme from one side to the other, that and it's important that you not cover up your building.
Sure.
We do that too much. We don't want to do that. So if you have something on one side that gives some volume to the building, and I'm not talking about pressing something up on the corner of the building, but something over on that side of the building that frames in the whole composition of the building. And then you may have something that's not quite so big on the other side, whichever side that chooses to be. It's going to work nicely also if they bring some of that planting forward instead of just starting at your walkway and pressing it on the building and not putting anything in the front. Now, I do confess that I don't have a picture now of what you're going to be left with in spatially after DOT screws up the street. But the general comment I would give you is to pass on to them, let there be something consistent across that front that supports that gives you a stage for the building instead of little pockets of different things that compete with your presentation of the building. Because I'm very pleased with what you're doing to the building. And it's going to be a vast improvement over what's there.
I'll take that feedback. Thank you, Mr. Owens.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that on the landscaping. How about, we talked a little bit about the monument sign. Brett, you want to pull up the monument sign just to take a quick, and I think the question here is, are you going to put the monument sign up like right now, or are you going to wait till DOT finishes all their?
We're gonna wait.
Okay.
Because
Figure out.
we don't know where that setback's gonna be.
Yeah, I was going to suggest if you do anything, maybe like temporarily, you get it stuck in front of one of these areas here. It's a two-posted thing, so, don't put it in concrete, but, if your sign guy wants to bury it in dirt for now up against the building, I don't think it'll be a huge thing, and it's going to give you some presence, because you still need to, once you're ready to open, you still need to, give yourself a little bit of presence. So you can do that, and then we can talk about moving it once they're done.
And we have time before we ideally would like to occupy. Honestly, we'd like to be completely done interior, exterior before we move in. And so our existing lease, we're on a month-to-month that we can keep on extending until everything is shined up and pretty and clean and just move in all at once.
And the DOT project's a 3-year project, so.
We don't have 3 years, so.
Yeah, so
but
you're probably going to want to do something. There may be some areas that they're less working in at times, but they've told us don't plan on anything for 3 years.
My only question on the sign is there anything in the sign that carries over to what you're doing on the building? The colors, materials?
The main color of the sign, we would like for that to be the gray, okay? That's the main color of the home. And then just our company colors. I brought, it's called Festivia Orange. I just brought my business card if anybody wants to see it. I figured that's because it has to be a certain color. And so just the Bay Equity part would be this. I think it would actually be a nice contrast, a nice little pop, but I don't want the entire sign to be orange. I want it to tie in to the main color of the house.
So,
Yeah.
And I see like a white frame and there's some fenestration along top of it. Maybe that ties into the trim color you're using on the door and the shutters.
Great idea.
Rather than,
The birch.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would look really good.
Yeah.
So what's the one on Marietta behind like crap?
That way it's all consistent and congruent.
I agree.
yeah, Crabapple just did, the local,
The wood sign?
they did one, and I think, the real estate one right beside it is like that as well.
Looks really good.
Right on Marietta Street between Highway 9 and Roswell.
What's the name of the company?
Crabapple Landscape?
I think it's Crabapple Landscaping, and I think the real estate office next to it's maybe the local or something like
It's
that.
just those two, it's behind the.
Behind the cleaners.
Are we approving signage or just reviewing signage with comments?
I think we can approve it with comment.
Okay. What's the height of it?
Yeah. How tall
What's our dimensions on this?
So the sign itself is 36 by 36,
how about the post? How tall?
Are you thinking ground up,
ground up, yeah.
6 foot?
Yeah, 5 to 6 feet.
It looks, all right.
If it ends up being out in the landscape, obviously then, we want some sort of landscaping around the base of it. Is it possible to add the address to it?
I would love, so ideally, as soon as we know where exactly that setback is, I would love landscaping, even consideration maybe for like a brick bed with flowers, uplighting and so forth. That's something I don't want to do before we know, before we know exactly where it can stay.
Right.
And so maybe in 3 years, we come back for a redesign and something more. But if we're comfortable having a general idea of where that setback's going to be, at least for the foreseeable future, then I would love to put landscaping in there with the understanding that most likely it may have to shift at some point after the DOT
I
project.
think it's whatever the staff is comfortable.
I think I can work with you on that.
Okay.
I like the idea of the number. I think the number needs to go out here, maybe even a little hanging tag
Sure.
underneath this sign. I think it kind of lends to that, that style. I don't think the board all the way across really works, but if you hung the 145 underneath it, I think that'd be good. And I agree, if you tie the wood stuff into the wood on the building,
I think it would look
that's
good.
gonna, yeah.
Really
You
look-
said Bay Equity as the orange. On the plan, it's showing just the home loans.
Yes.
So okay, down there. To me, it looks a little choppy with white and orange. We could also do our, like our logo, which just says BE. This is a B and an E. So it's not so wordy.
Yeah, to me, if you do all of that in orange, I think it's gonna take on that Halloween look.
Yeah.
So you want to stay.
So I like the white with just the orange of the thing, or maybe
yeah.
do your logo, but I think with that dark background, I think you need to do white,
Yeah,
is my
yeah.
opinion.
I agree. Yep.
That's gonna stand out better.
I was thinking he should stick with green. Then
Green,
people-
that would,
We go with the theme. They go with the theme.
They know it's money. They know where they're getting money.
Keeping with the earth.
I like your idea.
Yeah.
All right.
But there might cause accidents right there, so we don't.
But we're having the new center lane to help with that. So
Is there any lighting on this monument sign?
I would love for there to be lighting as soon as uplighting as soon as we're confident on where the final location will be.
So some sort of ground mount fixture.
Yeah.
And
So
will
this is-
there be any signage on the building itself, or just this?
No, we thought about that. So if we're looking at the building midway up,
There's no.
but it just honestly I don't think the building is large enough.
Good enough? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this will just go in a temporary location, this sign, until you know where it's gonna go. Okay.
So Brad, I'll work with you
yeah,
on it.
we'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
And
We'll
just-
get it somewhere. I think you need it to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify, everything, so the frame, I mean, the posts and everything are gonna be cedar, is that what we said?
Red. Sign needs to be.
The background color of the sign is the color of the building.
Right.
It looks like there's a frame on the sign. Is that gonna be like the accent color of the building? I thought I might have
I think
heard.
it would look nice.
I think it would too.
Yeah.
You're talking about this little
Just that
frame
little,
here?
just the border around,
Yeah, I think
2-inch, yeah.
raise that.
raise
the
that,
letters.
and then,
Yeah.
and
I
then
think as much as we can tie into the main concept of the home,
yeah,
will just aesthetically look the best.
yeah. And then the Bay Equity will be white, home loans will be your orange.
unless I can get like my corporate office to get away from that, because I'll be honest, I hate the color. But if I can, I do. And so if I can get away with y'all's approval and do everything white, if I can get my corporate to do it,
Yeah,
I
that'd be
think
fine,
that
too.
would be better than get rid of the orange altogether.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Before we have any motions made, I'll ask for any public comment. Any public comment on this application? All right, no public comment. Okay. Somebody want to craft a motion or two? Okay.
I'll take a step. Landscaping regarding DRB 220010, Bay Equity Home Loans. Landscaping is deferred per comments and revised for submittal to staff. End of motion.
May I comment in
Second.
between this? No, no.
Okay, have a motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Ms. Palmer. Questions or comments? Mr. Owens?
Pardon my jump in there. As it is deferred to you, as it is deferred to staff, can you bounce that off of Patrick and me in the meantime?
Was that your motion to defer it to staff or to defer
Yeah.
it to another meeting?
Defer to staff, I'm sorry.
Defer to staff,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
That's a good approach. There's no need to drag this out.
And then I'll email it out to the board. You guys can make your comments and we can go on from there. I think we can handle that. It's a small enough
Sure.
thing.
That would streamline the process.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that clarification. Any other comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, we've got landscaping taken care of. We've got exterior elevations and materials and then signage.
Mr. Chairman, DRB 220010, I make the motion that we approve the elevations and materials as followed. The building and trim will be painted as with the colors that were presented today. The chimney will be painted the house color. The chimney trim will be painted black. All railings will be metal. The the porch floor and stairs will be similar to the doors and the windows. The door.
Shutters.
Shutters. The doors and shutters. The door will be similar to what was presented today. And the gutters and downspouts will be bronze. End of motion.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Palmer, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any comments or questions about the motion?
I do have a comment.
Yeah, okay.
You did mention they were gonna paint the windows, so is that just assumed, or do we need to add that? They're gonna paint the wood black.
Yeah, I think we can assume that. What I'm gonna need you to do, though, is get back and kind of annotate this all out based on and then send me that.
Okay.
And then I'll say, yeah, I think that's what they did, and then that'll be your exterior.
Yes, sir.
So we had also discussed gabling the porch roof. That's something I'd like to see,
The new porch roof.
the new porch roof,
Okay,
as opposed to a flat roof.
okay. Why don't you, if that's, you can offer that as a friendly amendment to the motion? If you
Okay.
want to do that?
All right, I'd like to offer a friendly amendment to the motion on the table that the porch roof be gabled and shingled to match the rest of the roof versus the flat roof that was presented today.
Okay, so let's go through. So Ms. Palmer, do you accept the friendly amendment?
Does that mean that we can vote on it? Because
Well,
we will have to vote on that amendment, correct?
no, we don't have to vote on it.
Because
We don't vote
I
on the.
don't think it should have
Yes,
to be.
you vote on friendly amendments.
No, we
So
don't.
she that's the way it's supposed to be done. She can accept that there's a friendly amendment coming, and then that there's a friendly amendment added, but she doesn't have to approve of the friendly amendment. They can still vote to deny the friendly amendment. She's just saying, yeah, we can do a friendly amendment.
All right, the last time James Drinkert was here, he corrected me and said, we don't vote on friendly amendments only.
It's part
So
of
that's
the
why,
regular amendment,
yes.
or the regular vote.
friendly amendment's accepted as,
As part of the motion,
It's accepted in your liquid.
yes.
oh,
It's an
my
amendment
bad.
to the actual.
Oh, yeah. So,
Okay, well, I don't think it should have a gable, so I'm gonna not accept the friendly amendment.
Okay.
and as far as that goes, I don't even know what we're talking about because I don't see a flat roof. I just see in the rendering, I don't even know where a flat roof is.
Look at the drawings that they submitted, and there's a flat roof over the main entrance door.
It's easy to miss.
There,
So when you're saying gabled, you just want a
Here,
pitch to
Pat,
it?
look on, it's on your screen, it's in this, it's this elevation right here, in the middle. It's an actual, it's not a rendering, it's a drawing.
Of that.
So that's what, it's hard to know what a gable would look like. Like, would it come out? Because they were gonna extend it to make, so it'd come out and then there'd be a gable on it?
And how does that work with the existing roof?
Yeah, how does it plan to be?
Well, you keep it the same slope as the existing roof, so that it looks like it's almost a dormer
I don't
effect.
care. I don't care enough to,
I'm indifferent to it. I can't picture, because it's coming down at the front of the roof line.
Yeah, so it looks like.
So
makes it feel like-
I feel like the roof line's coming down this way, then you're gonna have this.
Yeah, this would go back, like a dormer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
all right, I'll accept it, and then we can just vote on it.
It'd be a gable.
I see two different elevations. Which elevation are,
I don't know how to do it.
the first elevation would allow for the gable, and I can see the point. You bring a gable and you bring it out to, at the same angle as the slope behind it. It would add a lot to it, but I don't think it's essential.
I don't know how you do it with the existing roof. What they've done here is the flat roof comes out underneath the existing, but if you're trying to gable it, how does that fit in with the existing roof that's coming down and?
Well, just like you'd put a dormer on a roof, right? It's gonna be like this, and it's gonna go back in and move the roof.
So you have to cut into the existing roof.
Yeah.
That will look odd.
Well, they're re-roofing it.
I mean, I
So-
don't know what you mean by cut in. You'd have to remove the shingles in that triangle, and then,
And no.
I mean, it's not complicated.
I think it is.
It's such a low slope roof that you just have a,
That's more dimension?
yes.
It just felt like a
It looks
a
like
little
it's
too
part
plain
of
for the style of the house.
Building from the get-go.
I think it is
That's all.
complicated.
Versus just coming straight out
Right.
Right.
with 5 by 5 feet.
Yeah, to me, the flat thing just felt like something bolted on as
Yeah, but
opposed
you
to
have to
something
cut
that's
into
part of
that
the house.
existing roof
Do
to
you
do it. I
think
don't know what that overhang
have
is,
them
but,
Send a design of what it would look like, or just
Not much.
to go?
yeah, I can't vote on something I can't.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I'd be happy leaving it to staff for final review, and if they don't like it, they could bring it back to us. I think
Well-
it's just a dormer, it's just like this. It's-
Right now, the motion is, I know you've offered the friendly amendment, but we've got to have Ms. Palmer accept it first. If not, then we have to
Then
vote
we
on
vote
it.
on it without the amendment.
Right.
Then you vote on it without the amendment, you
Right.
deny it, and then come back with a motion with it, or whatever, however you want to do that. I would prefer it not get deferred to staff.
Okay.
I'll just say that. Because
Okay.
I think there's too much question in, what it looks like. I agree, it's a pretty low slope. There's already a wing of that hip that's right there, so it's could look odd when you finally figure out, because they wanted it to cover the window as well, so I would want to see it and then,
All right, Mr. Chairman, I withdraw
where-
the friendly amendment.
Okay, all right.
Right, okay,
All right, we're back to where we started. So we've got,
okay. I'm in the middle.
we have the motion on the floor. It's been seconded. The friendly amendment has been offered, but then retracted, so we're back to where we started.
My
Okay.
concern about the gable, just to wrap that, is I think they're trying to
wrap, they withdrew
modernize
it.
this building. It feels like they're trying to modernize it maybe a little bit with the colors and everything. I would think that whatever they're doing as an addition, someone would need to approve it. Sounds like they're going for the flat roof to maybe keep it modern. We're talking gable.
But right now, what they presented is a flat roof, and that's what's in the motion,
yeah.
Correct.
is a flat roof.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But
All
the
right.
elevation didn't show it, like the addition of 5 feet, did it?
Yes.
Well, you
So
wouldn't really
there-
see it in the elevation because it's flat. You got to look at this drawing page to be able to
Kind of
really.
a mixed bag of
It's just hard
elevations.
it's hard to grasp it, okay.
5 feet
Hard to
out,
figure out.
Okay, all right, we're back.
a lot of space.
Any other comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? no opposition, motion passes 7-0. All right, thank you for that. All right, we still have the monument sign to do.
All right, Mr. Chairman, microphone on. Regarding DRB 220010, Bay Equity Home Loans. Motion to approve the monument sign as presented with the following conditions and clarifications. Applicant will add a hanging tag with the address number that will be in similar colors to match the sign. The posts are in the cedar color that matches the doors and the shutters on the building. The sign background color will be the same as the building color, with a raised frame that will match the building trim color. The letters will also be raised. The words Bay Equity will be in white. And the words home loans will be in the orange that was presented or in white.
Okay, thank you.
And a motion.
Second?
Okay. Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Swing. I'm going to give Ms. Rocco the credit for the second,
Good job, Katie.
only because she sits closer to me. Anyway, second goes to Ms. Rocco. All right. Any questions or comments about the motion?
Do we need to say anything about like the sign location and plantings and lighting per staff or anything, just because it's kind of,
I think with what's going on out there, I think we just leave it, and then when we get to that point, if I have a question, then we'll bring it back. If not,
Okay.
I think I know what the intent, what you guys would want. I think that's what they would want if we can get it there.
Okay, very good.
I almost added a gabled roof to the sign, just so I could get my gabled roof. Gable roofs don't seem popular today. So.
All right, any other questions or comments about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right, thank you very much for your time, Tripp. Appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all for y'all's time.
All right, yeah. Okay, all right, I'll tell you what, our next applicant's going to be Angela Kraus Lincoln. Are you here? Why don't you come on up and start getting set up? We're going to take a quick recess while we run to the restroom and a few other things. Okay, all right, and then we'll get started back in about 5 minutes. So we'll take a 5-minute recess here.
What happened to Davidson Homes?
What's that?
The one we missed,
They didn't show up.
Somebody else came in.
I think he's a Manna Academy, I think. Okay, we all set? Ready? All right, let's end our recess and get going again. And our next applicant is going to be Angela Kraus Lincoln. So you're here, come on up. If you'll introduce yourself, speak into the microphone, and then give us an overview of what we're looking at today. And before you say anything, I would like to say I'd like to welcome the third grade class, or one of the third grade classes of Creekview Elementary School. So welcome. Thank you for being here. This is the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board, where we review applications, people that come in and want to make changes to buildings in Alpharetta or want to build a new building in Alpharetta or things of that nature. So we look at what they're doing and then give them some comments and approve what they're doing for the most part. So we're glad to see all these smiling faces this morning, and always nice to have a field trip on Friday too, isn't it? So yes, glad you're here. And all right, I'll turn it over to the next applicant. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. Angela Kraus.
Start early.
Good morning, members of the Design Review Board. I'm Steve Ellison, Pro Building Systems, representing Angela Cross Lincoln. I have Sarah with us from Raleigh and Associates, and we have Kenny Duggan, who is represented from Cross Lincoln. We have a pretty simple request this morning. It's a little backstory. This about 2017, Ford and Lincoln split. Split buildings, have a different experience for the brand. So the house is built in Lincoln showroom building only, next to the Ford showroom building there in 2000, I believe the DRB case is a 2017 case. Built in 18. And both of those buildings on the front of Mansell are showroom only buildings. The service reception, service component currently are this large building in the back. And they're getting some pushback now from Lincoln customers. Making the split actually increased their Lincoln sales exponentially. They would like to have this, they would like to wait in the Lincoln showroom experience as opposed to waiting in the back of the parking lot. So that's what's kind of driven this approach or this proposal. So essentially we're adding a service reception to the rear of the existing Lincoln building. So the service customers are received in the Lincoln building, they can wait in the Lincoln showroom. A little more synergy between the sales guys and the customer, and just building a little more relationship for hopefully some repeat business.
Those service riders are gonna love it.
They are, exactly. So, if you can go to the next slide, please.
Yes. No, we apologize. This is
Okay, so you can see where it's currently parking behind the building. We are up against some grade challenges on the on the west side. It's about 1,004 all the way traveling. On the east side, it's 998. We are maintaining those grades. The existing finished floor of the showroom, I think, is 1,006. The finished floor of this addition will be 1,002. There's currently stairs coming out of the building. We'll take those off and make a nicer stair on the interior. There'll be a 4-foot elevation change. So you kind of ramp up into the service reception. There's a storm drain there that runs under the building now. It ties together and all runs down to the south. We'll relocate that pipe. It's kind of outside the building footprint. There's also 2 site light poles that are there that we're just eliminating. And I'll let Sarah.
Let's go to the elevation.
We got the elevation first?
Yeah, let's do the elevations.
Okay. So the elevations are very simple. The entire back of the building and the sides are all just white stucco. So it's not too complicated. Material sample. It's white stucco. It'll match the existing building. The storefront system will match the existing building. It's a structural silicone glaze system. The vertical joints are butt glazed. On the exterior, it's anodized aluminum.
So, Steve, let me interrupt you just one second. In your drawings here, you've just got this dotted out as new, right?
I was just stippling it to signify numbers.
But the existing building is that exact same finish.
Exactly. It's exactly the same finish. Yeah. And I'll just kind of signify what was new.
Yeah.
And all the windows are matched glazing. It's all the same. Like I said, it's clear anodized aluminum with vertical white glaze joints. One sign, it's the service sign there. It's a sign program for Lincoln, so
Yeah.
just the way it's positioned. But I walked around, took a bunch of photographs, I don't know, but once the trees are in the landscape center, I don't know if you can see it. But we will likely, what I didn't show on this drawing is we'll likely have to have a single wall pack on each side. I don't like to drive from the outside, it would be cut off, shine down, but we're eliminating the two side light poles. Put the wall packs on the building, just kind of early when the customers are arriving.
And you've got some wall packs now on the building anyway?
There are, yes.
Okay, so, all right.
Sir?
Good morning. I'm Sarah Spencer here representing Raleigh Associates Landscape Architects, 675 Seminole Avenue Northeast, Atlanta 30307, in case you need all that. So as far as landscape goes, we would be removing 6 existing trees, a couple up close adjacent to the building, and then several in that existing kind of parking islands on either end of that double row of parking that's being eliminated. And that would be, I guess, total 28.5 inches to be removed. And then we're proposing replacement of 11 trees for a total of 30 inches. And that would also meet the site density factor.
So is it, so you're removing a certain density, then you have to put a certain density back?
We just wanted to at least represent, yes, that we would be doing a balance, if not in excess, just a little.
Is that the requirement? What was you gonna ask? There's a lot of trees.
Show of good faith.
Pardon me?
Oh, just show of good faith, I guess, that we were taking that many inches out
Okay.
and wanted to at least replace that many, also to meet the parking, just the shading of the parking area, the asphalt, and then making a little bit different plant selection up closer to the building, tree selection, some understory there as well, and then also just some evergreen just on the back of the service.
Okay, what's orientation on your drawing?
That should be, Mansell Road is to the north. So then our,
So you're on the south side then?
yes.
Okay. That's, seems like a lot of trees, that's all.
Well, we could.
Oh, that's why I asked the requirement?
I think the requirement would be to attempt to replace, to keep the site
Right.
density.
And that's what we did, I guess, previously with another.
Jaguar.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, so since that was what the exercise we needed to do there, we.
You know that arborist guy.
Well, right. Are you irrigated?
I believe it is currently, and we would just make sure that gets revised as well with sleeving and whatnot.
Because my only concern is here is when the trees get larger and the Muhlenbergia is gonna go away. It's gonna get shaded out and then
Yes.
not only that, so.
Yeah, it's all in that.
The nice thing about when the trees are placed, there's no parking adjacent to either side of that island, so
Yes.
there's not as much of a concern as it would be with the current.
Does anybody that parks south of this expansion, do they need to walk through this area to get in those doors?
We, this might be kind of hard to tell on there, we did provide two walkways on either side of the
Okay.
the new expansion.
Oh, walk access. You're talking about that call out?
It would be very, access had to be very minimal.
I got it.
Coming
your
here, if
service
you're coming to the back,
guys,
you're driving into the building for the service drive, if you're coming to the front, you're gonna park in the front.
Thank you, Paul.
What else can we do for you?
Yeah, it's my interpreter.
It is good to see that, I'm presuming that your corn beans are not alone.
We were proposing American corn beans, I think that was used previously too, and I don't know, from what I've read, they get about the same maturity as the corner anyway, and that helps us meet our native percentage as well.
Yeah, it's correct, it's not very heavy, yeah, so
Okay, any other questions about the landscape? All right. Anything else we need to review this morning? Or, okay, so we've got exterior elevations and materials, landscaping, and I guess you've got one sign, but it's really just a service sign, so. Okay, before we get any motions, is there any public comment about this application? Any comments from the public? No? Okay, very good. All right. Does somebody want to craft some motions?
Second?
Okay, motion by Mr. Owens, a second by Mr. Corkle. Any questions or comments about the motion? So Richard, your advisement with doing more shade tolerant. So if the applicant comes back with some more shade tolerant undercover, understory plants to staff,
let me qualify that. It will be a while before the new grass takes a turn, and you've got a lot of plants in there. You can simply pull out the new grass and replace it with, and I'm talking future, because right now I'm suggesting we approve what you have. You go with what you got and address the condition down the road.
okay. So basically looking at what they presented today then.
Yeah.
All right, very good, Richard. Thank you for that clarification. All right, any other questions or comments about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Okay? So now we've got exterior elevations and materials.
I'd like to make a motion regarding DRB 220019, that we approve the elevations and materials as presented today in the motion.
Okay, a motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Ms. Rhodes. Any questions or comments about the motion?
I don't think this needs to be in the motion, but just that you're going to have some light wall packs. Those will match what you have on the building today. And your service sign is going to match what you have on the building today as far as signage.
Okay, very good. Thanks for that clarification.
I didn't approve the sign. Should that sign been included?
I don't think it has to. I don't even know that you're going to see it from any public right-of-way anyway, so.
Same as what they've got.
Okay. Any other comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, very good.
Great.
Steve, thanks for your time this morning. All right. Teresa. All right, our next applicant this morning is Amana Academy. Come on up or come on down, please.
Mr. Corkell stepped into the audience.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, go to the audience.
You're recusing yourself.
I'll be
Very good.
presenting, I believe.
Very good, Mr. Corkell. Okay. All right. Good morning. Welcome. If you will make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourself this morning, and then give us an overview of what we're looking at in our packet today, please.
Yes, hi, I'm Matthew Geiger with Good Van Slyke Architecture. We'll also be with Pat Corkle, who is our landscape architect, and Trevor Andre, our civil engineer with Long Engineering. So what we're looking at today is a project for the Amana Academy. And we're really, we've been working with them the past few months to add a large recreational and educational green space to the site, which is now, as some of you are probably familiar, just a very large parking lot. The idea is that this landscape will improve not only, this project will not only provide more green space and recreational space for the students and faculty, but will also serve to improve the traffic circulation for the school and their drop-off and pickup. Right now, it's a bit chaotic.
Yes.
On top of adding the synthetic turf field that you can see in the plan above and the bioswale for water retention and improving the hydrology of the site, we will also be moving all the island trees that per our arborists were deemed to be dying on the site, and we will be replacing those trees and bringing those islands up to code. So 2 trees per parking island. And our landscape architect can speak more to the species and the benefits of those species for the site. On top of, and then in terms of other improvements for the site, as some of you may know, they are doing some pretty significant work on South Main Street, which on the screen here is to the right of the site. So what we're proposing is kind of, we're adding another long island of trees that you can see, running perpendicular to South Main Street, and planting trees there as well, which will really enhance the site and give the parents and anyone visiting the school kind of a procession into the school, whereas now it's just kind of wide open and just all parking. The other benefit too to what we're proposing, with replacing the trees on the existing islands and having them actually thrive, it will kind of, if you will, provide some shielding of all the parked cars on the site when school's in session. And you can see, you can get an idea of all the trees that would be added to the run of islands that are running north-south on the sheet right there, right? So as those trees continue to grow, it can start to cover some of all the cars that would be parked there from the cars that are driving up and down Main Street. And then the other benefit in terms of adding greenery to this site is we're adding 13 large-scale tree planters that flank the green space of the site. Yep, you can see right there. And if you go to the next sheet, you can start to see some more details about the scale of these planters that will support larger trees, as well as the cast concrete. So the planters will be concrete, and they will match the same material that are used for these large scale. They're essentially oversized steps that will kind of keep any soccer balls in the field and allow students to sit down, and outdoor learning can happen. And you can get a sense of size and scale from, if you scroll down, the drawings below. And sorry, I hate to make you jump around, but if you go back to the previous page, the image on the bottom right kind of shows the concept for these oversized steps, just to allow students to kind of sit down and have a class outside, and also kind of be a guardrail to keep the students and all the recreational balls and whatnot to the site. So that's kind of a brief overview of what we're planning with the school.
Okay, very good. All right, let's talk about the site plan. Any questions for Matt and/or the civil engineer on the site plan? So are the current islands, are they irrigated? Is that why some of the existing trees have kind of perished, or they're not doing very well? Get to that. All right, we'll get to the landscape. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Right, that's more part of your package. Yeah.
Okay. And I also saw where it looks like on the back of the facility, you're going to, I guess, paint a basketball court?
Yes, part of the scope of the project is we're just simply repainting all the parking striping that's on their parking lot currently. And in addition to that, we're just painting the outline of a basketball court and half court. I think if you go back to the sheet that has the images, you'll see that we're not actually building anything up. We're simply just painting striping for a basketball court for the gym class. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you, while we're on this slide, can you point out like when the moms and dads drop their children off, like where are they coming? Because I see, are they dropping off on both sides of this?
So the idea is, well, first of all, the green space will essentially divide all that parking in two. So the main drop-off entry is from that South Main Street side. And then as they go up that kind of processional tree area, the idea is that they would turn right, and that this larger traffic loop would be available for dropping and picking up. Yeah, if you don't know.
Is this the flow?
Yes.
Oh, that, what? Are you talking about the pink?
If you'll speak into the microphone, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Missy Rahman. I'm the Director of Operations at Amana Academy. For our future parking loop, we would have 2 loops. So the first loop would come in off of Main Street, and you would go down that line of trees, and you would take a left before you get to the green islands. So there's a left there, and it would go around the back of the school. So if you see that line that continues around the back of the school, we currently do pick up there for special carpool. This would become one of our main carpool loops. And we would get cars, it provides a lot of stacking for our cars, and it would be used for pickup and drop-off.
So that's going to be future, or is that now?
Currently, it's used for our special carpool, so it's less cars.
Okay.
We want to use it for more cars.
Because I know you had some buses parked behind your facility, and there was a gate back there as well, so.
So in terms of buses, the buses would actually use the loop that Matt was kind of drawing. So when you come down, the buses come before carpool and after, and they leave before carpool begins in the afternoon. So they would come down here and keep going straight, and they would pick up right in front of our middle school to the left, actually. They'd make that little turn to the left. Yeah, right there. And they would pick up in front of middle school, and they would drop off in front of middle school there. And they would head back out.
A bus can make that left turn there?
It can currently make the turn. If we closed it in, it's a pretty large, I don't know the measurements, but the bus can currently make that turn. And then the second carpool loop, which is currently a carpool loop already, comes in off of Roswell Street. So if you come over on this entrance, it goes straight down the side of the school. It loops around and drops off right here, right before you get to the, so right there is where it drops off before you get there, and it would take that left right before you get to the green space and head back out and then go back left there. So
nobody's
correct. Correct. So that would be only for buses and deliveries, and it would be a raised, one of those, like you see at the airport, like those raised speed bumps, and it would have all the markings and striping on it. So we would not be using that for cars, but we would use it for potentially if a bus had to come for a field trip, or deliveries could go through there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then I think, you also have a traffic officer that helps direct traffic out on Main Street, if I recall, right?
Yes.
Or correct? Okay.
Yes.
Help with that. I know it's a mess with what DOT is doing right now as well, so that's kind of a challenge in itself. All right. Any other site questions at this point? So you're restriping the parking lot.
Yes.
And kind of painting that basketball court in the rear. I think you already have some half courts back there, something, don't you? Or don't they do basketball back there now? Mm-hmm. Okay, or some sort of recreation, all right?
I do have a question on, can you go back to that slide you were on before? So in those 2 dark green things, it says gravel fill traffic island, but then on another one, it says that they're pine straw mulch islands. Those 2, yep, there. And then there's the little triangle one, it says gravel filled.
Yes, those will not be gravel filled. We've updated since, and I think the current landscape drawings will address what those will be.
Yeah, okay, that's was my only other question. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other site questions? No? Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's talk about landscaping then. And if you'll make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourself.
Good morning, esteemed Design Review Board members. Pat Corkill, landscape architect for Amana Academy. We had a bit of an interesting introduction to this project as a firm where we did not do a lot of the site planning itself. We came in in the scope of taking the planter areas, taking the raised speed table, introducing plant materials into those areas, that sort of thing. So this was more or less a planting exercise for us, a little bit challenging here and there. So it's an existing center. Richard, you'd asked about the existing trees and their failure. It was pear trees, and it was, and they are pear trees which are perishing, and red maples which are perishing. The best trees out there are some oaks. There are a couple of those will be kept, but it's just poor material choice. So we'll be coming in there and introducing parking lot trees that are more conducive to the heat islands that are affected. And there is no current irrigation out there. Those trees in the islands, we're introducing better species, and we'll also be introducing watering bags to keep those plantings alive. But as Matt had mentioned, you know, Amana Academy has taken on that issue, if you will, to green up the entire area. And if you have any questions on the species, the planters, we chose London plane trees, which take condensed root balls. They can take extreme water, or they can take extreme dry. We've introduced a bioswale, which is at the urging of city staff, and that is in the area between the green space and the raised speed table crosswalk, where a lot of the drainage water will be introduced there. It will be stored and, what's the word I'm looking for, Trevor, to infiltrate, but in a slow manner. It'll be used for teaching as well, the students. The green space itself will be artificial turf. If anybody wants to.
Can we touch it?
You certainly can.
Okay.
So, artificial turf.
I do want to see
I
it.
will need about 600 more saplings of those all in my yard.
Anybody else want to just sink their fingers in there?
So it's not like what you think sometimes, and it's thicker than the normal, what you might see on a sports field. And it's got like fake thatch in there and that sort of stuff. So it's a good solid material for that space. Also, as part of the site plan, with the raised speed table itself, it'll be mostly concrete, and then the crosswalk itself will be, and there's an image of all this stuff on the second sheet or third sheet. There'll be a brick paver crosswalk.
Okay.
There's two colors. It'll be a charcoal gray and a limestone gray mix. Also in the images on the sheets.
Very good. Pat, I'm going to interrupt you just a minute to welcome our newest members that have just joined our Design Review Board meeting. So I want to welcome the third graders from Creekview Elementary School. So thank you for being here this morning. This is the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board meeting, where we hear from applicants that are doing different projects in the City of Alpharetta. And right now, Amana Academy is presenting what they're doing in front of their building. So we're hearing from one of the landscape architects that have designed the landscaping piece of that. So anyway, welcome. Glad you're here today. Happy Friday. Always nice to have a field trip on Friday, right? Get out of school. It's a great day, so we appreciate you being here.
Good morning.
Welcome.
How many of you have grass like this that you can hold up? Pick up your yard and hold it up?
All right.
Cool though, huh?
Okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Have fun today.
Where was I? On pavers for the crosswalk. So that's the second image there, number 2, decorative crosswalk apron. It'll be, both sides will be a concrete. The third thing is on the site plan, there's in the works is they want to protect the front of the walking areas, and there's a series of bollards that will go on both sides as you come along that loop road. Up near the building, Brett. So and this drawing is impossible. You can see the series of dots. Yeah, see the series of dots there? So those will be powder-coated steel bollards. They will be powder-coated the same color as the trim color on the building, which is slate tile. And what's our fourth image here?
And then you have some of the bollards also on the other end of the.
On both sides, right, of that speed table on that loop road. And there's an image there of what we're thinking about doing with that bioswale. Bioswales are interesting because they have to hold water, so you have to have plants that are wet, and you have to have plants that can take the dry air conditions. So it's a little bit of a challenge sometimes to do that, so it has to be a really specialized planting palette. The palette is shown on the landscape plan. The idea at the entry is once DOT finishes up their good work out front, that we'll introduce some flowering trees at the entrance with some lower plantings, a little bit of accent, a row of trees as you march in, and then you switch over to those London plane trees around the green space.
And just for the board's information, if you're not familiar with the project, the traffic light that's currently up here by Mammoth is going to be relocated and will be, that intersection will be right here, right at their entrance. So if you look out there, they've already got the pole bases poured and there for the traffic signals and stuff. So I think enhancing this all the way to the street is really going to give that intersection a nice feel.
Will DeVore have a light too?
I don't know if DeVore is going to have a light, but it's going to do the similar thing. It's going to move, to the other side of the bank.
Yeah.
And then I think it does have a light.
So 3 lights, like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's interesting, okay.
That's it for landscape. Do you have any questions?
What do the pavers look like?
What are the what?
Kind of pavers? Did you hold up the paver?
That was just before
Show me the paver again, please.
Yeah.
our third graders.
I was looking at the grass, I think, when that came around.
You don't remember?
Okay. No,
It's two-tone color, so
So gray, okay.
extremely similar to the image that's shown on the
So the
on
herringbone?
the sheet.
Like
Yeah.
gable pattern?
There'll be a roll lock with herringbone down the middle.
Kind of a
We'll have
gable
the
pattern
truncated
look.
domes on the ends.
Kind of a gabled pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do gable if you like.
Could you gable it? That'd be awesome.
I still have a couple of landscape comments.
Okay.
I really like the choice of Sweet Spire.
The Virginia Sweet Spire.
And I really like your model on the willow oak picture. Did you pay him rights for that?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
That's all I've got.
Looking a little green.
Okay. It looks like, so there's a flagpole. I know there's a flagpole there now.
Correct.
And is that same flagpole being relocated?
It is.
Okay, we're doing that, all right. And then I noticed there are going to be picnic benches for faculty members. Do you have images of that?
They're future, so the areas that were shown as being gravel.
Right.
The original idea was there would be picnic benches out there and that sort of thing.
Right.
That's been rescinded or retracted as far as it goes now. So we're introducing the trees there. It'll be pine straw mulch, and then if and or when Man Academy chooses, then they will be putting picnic tables out there, and then they'll go to Mr. Brett for the exact manufacturer and colors and all that good stuff.
All right. And a quick just observation about the bollards. I guess, are they like breakaway, or are they going to be, nope? So
They are steel bollards. Well, we have to look at if we want to introduce some that need to be removed. And the detail of it right now is they'll be placed in the ground with concrete poured around it, but we don't know if we're going to make a sleeve and be able to pull some of them out. It's an operations question.
I'm just thinking about whether somebody runs into one and damages it, or the buses that are coming in and looping through on the other side there. Is there enough room for a bus to get through there? But anyway, I'm just thinking.
Well, we haven't done a true traffic turning radius study, but there should be plenty of room. If they hit it, then it'll cause more damage to the bus, and they'll repaint the bollard.
Yeah.
Okay. Okey doke.
So, you're probably going to tell me you talked about this too and I missed it, but the synthetic wood decking, it's going to be like a natural cedar look, kind of like what's in this picture.
So that will be under the architect's scheme of things, and it's sort of a mixed bag where we came in to do a lot of the planting and then a few of the other site items. And I can let Mr. Matt address what that is and those sort of things. So
Okay, all right.
yeah, it's a mixed bag of sites.
Yeah, you basically did the plantings, okay.
Yeah, for the most part, yep.
Gotcha, okay.
Site lighting, are you doing anything, changing, adding to, moving site lights?
So we'll have to go through LDP after this. There are existing pole lights.
Right.
The first drawing of mine shows those locations. And so, gosh, this is awful, Brett.
Yeah, I found one of them.
So there are several that are in those islands, and pretty much where you see where there's not a tree, we may need to avoid it. But
On this drawing, it's the stars.
Yes,
See 'em
yep.
here.
there you go. So once we get to LDP, there very well could be comments that come back where we need to enlarge an island, or we need to move a light pole, or something to that effect.
Okay.
But right now, the plan is to keep the existing lighting, which Amana feels is adequate.
Okay, very good. All right, any other questions for the applicant? So we got a site plan.
Let me throw out a few thoughts here.
Yeah, not for landscaping, but I
Couldn't get out.
get back to the architect, a couple of questions.
We know that the existing trees have suffered in part because of the islands they're planted in. And I know that you came in and had the islands there to plant your trees in. My caution would be to make sure that those islands do have enough space for the trees, because some of them look rather narrow. And also the square planters that your plane trees are going to come into, the sycamores, that's a good tree selection because they can take some tough conditions. They're only 6 feet on the plant for the soil that the tree is going to be planted in. Is it possible, and this could be addressed by Amana and by Matt, is it possible that you could add a foot on either side add a foot to each planter on either side to give that tree more space to grow? And because you could do that and maintain the same rectangle of play area. You would certainly lose some space on each stairway.
So it would go to like a 6x7 rather than a 6x6.
Well, they're 8 by 8.
Oh, they're 8x8s?
Yeah.
Planters are 8 by 8, so do you
It'd
link
be
it?
eight on the inside instead of on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I think we
inside.
could look at, it's a 1 foot width along the top of it, right? So if we take and reduce that width by about 6.
Well, you could
gain
do that, or you could,
bigger space.
you could do that, or you could make the inner
Getting
portion
it
of the
wider is
square wider.
another issue. Yes.
Is your bio retainage area set based on some calculations that created that? Because it's possible you could draw the trees in toward there and make that bio retention area smaller.
It is, it's based on drainage calculations. We're now, if Trevor, you want to come up? Sure.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
So basically, with the bioretention area, that's going to be calculated based on the impervious area that we're either disturbing, replacing. So during our LDP and as we get further into the design, we're going to do that. We have already gotten geotechnical back on it. We have pretty much a 1 inch per hour infiltration rate, so it's pretty good right now. So as far as sizing it, depth and everything, it's really just going to be based on those calculations going to be presented in LDP as we move forward.
Okay. If it's possible, based on the comment about the tree planters, I would suggest that if it's possible to make it smaller, then we could make those planters bigger based on that. Or we could even take out one of the tree planters and make the other ones wider.
Making them wider isn't a great option.
Yeah.
Making them wider isn't a great option because it's based on the space available.
What if you kept it 8 feet wide, but lengthened it 8 by 10 feet or something like that? And then you don't lose any astroturf, synthetic. All right.
I don't think we can make it wider because that's gonna impact the driver. We gotta also be careful with
We would just shrink the steps.
the steps.
Or you keep it this, I mean, you keep it 8 feet with the steps and just,
I would love to see the fire retention area get smaller.
Absolutely. We can,
Love that.
this work.
I mean, I guess the question is, we're trying to make sure that the tree that's going in the planter has enough space, soil.
Correct.
To survive, right?
We want to be,
That's-
we want to be kind to the tree.
Sharpen
And
the
not
pencil,
limit
Trevor.
your benefit of that shade that you're, it's a nice layout, and it's great to see this feature to enhance the property.
From our sample, we're gonna try to make the bioswale as minimal as possible to handle the runoff reduction. So there's a possibility it may get small. We're definitely not gonna try to oversize it to what we need. If we gotta carry it a little deeper, we would, but again, all of that's gonna be based on the.
So the bioswale is taking the runoff from the synthetic turf area? Is that what's happening? And allowing it to drain and get clean and all that? Okay, so that's the, so you may not need that much of a bioswale area is what you're saying?
Yeah, we'll just, once we get deep into the calculations, we'll be able to do that and coordinate with what we have.
I see, okay.
Yeah, so if I did the math right, I think you have about 25 feet between those planters.
Correct.
I believe, right? So you added another, took a couple feet away to make those planters bigger.
Yeah, we can look at definitely widening them,
Yeah, it
and then
doesn't
we
seem
would.
like it'd be a big loss, and you'd lose a little bit of that seating there, but.
And as a note of those planters, the drawings, we're gonna excavate out, because, it's a parking lot now. We're gonna excavate out 3 or 4 feet underneath there, churn it all up, add the soil organics to that soil will go back, and then those planters will be filled with a planting mix that's more conducive to the trees as well.
Yeah, good point. That's important.
Okay.
That's what lurks under there after 20 or 30 years of being a parking lot.
So, just a question I asked before, on the synthetic wood decking, is it the color that's shown in the picture here, it's just gonna be sort of a natural?
Correct. It
Natural
would
kind of
be definitely a synthetic wood.
Right, but just sort of that natural
maintenance,
color.
but absolutely a natural color.
Yeah, that looks
Would
good.
blend in nicely with the kind of naturalness of the bioswale.
Yeah, I agree. On the front end, in the picture here, I guess it'd be the right side of that. Understand the sides are those cement steps. What's the front end of that?
So that kind of south corner?
Yeah.
So right now, that would just kind of be, right now we have it as about a 3.5 foot, just kind of wall matching material as the steps. And the idea is at some point going forward, it could be an opportunity for either plaques of donors or signage for the school. But this wouldn't be till further on, and we would work with the manufacturer Alpha Sign that did the new sign that they just added that was approved. So if it's decided that we want to go the signage route, we'll obviously go through the necessary routes to get that approved.
All right, so it's just a plain concrete wall, and the steps are just plain concrete as well,
Correct.
right?
So it'll read exactly like the back of those steps.
It'll just be the same height as the steps going around. How high are this, 3 steps?
3 steps, 6 inches each, so you're at 1.5 feet.
And you don't need any kind of handrails for that height of step?
No.
And then going past that, the blank concrete wall, what's the next section above that? Is that more, yeah, right there, is that more seating?
Yes, that would be more seating.
So the seating's just gonna, so that whole thing is enclosed entirely?
Correct,
There's no way
correct.
to-
For the safety of the students and because there are cars turning.
So are the steps up and down?
Yes.
So on the north side, the steps are up and down because there's that sidewalk to
This
the
here,
north.
this side.
Right, so students could sit on either side.
Okay.
To the south, the steps are just on the side. They step down to the synthetic turf.
To the
But
grass.
on the back side, it would just be like a flat wall to discourage anyone from going to that drive aisle.
Same thing here, just no steps.
Correct.
And then these steps again face in.
Correct.
These here.
Correct.
So that, you said 3.5 feet, how's that back side of that 3.5-foot wall treated?
3.5. Oh, for the step wall?
Yeah, so all along here, here, actually, this whole L shape here, you've got a 3.5-foot concrete wall that's flat against the parking lot. How are you treating that with something? You just doing a brush coat on it, or?
It would be the same finish as the steps, but,
Okay, so get the same finish as the steps. It's not just gonna be however the
a brick
concrete
wall.
ends
No,
up
it's
pouring out.
gonna be the same finish as the steps.
So there's a wall behind the steps? Because I thought what I understood before, there was 3 steps, 6 inches each, and that was going to.
No, there's not a wall behind it. If you go down
How do we get the 3.5 feet?
On drawing A200, there's some good sections through each of those stepped areas. This is one of,
A200.
there it is, right there. There you go. There you can see some of the,
A200.
So this is the flat one.
Correct.
So
On the
this, you're
south
saying
side.
this is about 3.5 feet?
It's gonna vary because we're sloping down with the site, but I believe the highest would be around
Tallest
that.
spot, yeah. And then this is the one where the steps go up both sides.
Yep, to the sidewalk to the
Sidewalk on this
north.
side.
and then scroll over to the right on your screen, and then that's
The
where
planter.
that's like a planter.
Yeah, but it seems like if you got 3 6-inch steps, you got 1.5 foot, right? And maybe there's a little grade change there.
But on the other side, it almost becomes a wall because that's how you get to the synthetic turf, right?
Right.
But the parking lot may be a different elevation.
Yeah, I guess if the parking lot's lower, so the parking lot's another 1.5 foot lower than the
I think
synthetic turf?
I believe the lowest point will only be about a foot lower.
I mean, that seems kind of strange because it's
When you look at
all
the,
parking lot today.
scroll to the right
Parking
again.
lot's on that much of an angle there
Brett,
today?
if you will, you can see where there's a ground, well, you can't see where the ground is.
Okay,
Or,
I'm okay with it, though, that's fine. As long as it's the same finish as the steps.
Yes.
That's all good. So that's all okay. So then so that if somebody parks out in the parking lot and they're walking up to the building, they're gonna take that walkway that's in the drawing on the top end of the green. They're gonna
Correct.
walk along there. But then what seems odd is that it sort of just stops. Shouldn't the pavers go just a little further so that the sidewalk joins with the pavers?
Yes, I think that's actually a really good idea.
It also kind of marks it as, because people are gonna be crossing there, right? So
Yeah, I definitely agree with your comment. That area needs a little resolution to it.
In the same area, another detail observation.
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out how because, you're walking along a sidewalk and now you just.
Yeah, I think you need to do something with that. I have one more thought. It'd be some framing changes, but could we bump those planter boxes out 6-8 inches from, especially on this back side with that 3-foot wall? If we bump those out, then it wouldn't be so just a straight, 70, 80 foot long 3-foot wall standing there?
Oh, so you're
Now
talking
it's
about
gonna have some movement to it?
just kind of breaking up the sheer length of it?
it's 200 feet, Brett, it's 200 feet long.
250 even.
It is the drive, yes,
Longer than that,
and
yeah.
Pat said it's a drive aisle, but
15,
I'm
yeah.
thinking even if it's just brick width, just to give it something
Just
besides.
to give it some depth.
Yeah. Because normally, like, we would say, if this was a retaining wall along a street or something like that, we'd say, you need some columns or something to break that up. I know it's only 3 foot high or maybe max 3 foot high.
Max 3 foot high.
But it seems like those tree boxes leave a great spot just to bump that out just a little bit.
What about a material change?
Or a material change,
Linear and then
something.
Okay.
reveals that go vertically.
Yeah, just something to break up that long backside. On the other side, you got steps. So
Right.
It won't look as odd. I really like the idea, though, of leaving the front side, so this part on, maybe even on this whole thing, I like that idea of leaving that for donor plaques, things like that. I think that's a super cool idea. But And maybe for now, we do something on there. Maybe we go ahead and do some sort of just a inexpensive sign, something there that can be moved around or whatever,
Well,
but.
Brett, the drawing says future school branding right there in that area you're talking about.
Right, so I just think it needs a little something now rather than just
Some
a flat
refinement.
concrete wall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if we did something temporary, that could move or whatever, or go ahead and put the branding on there. I think that would really help, but I think that 200-foot wall needs something.
Absolutely.
In that same area of the future school branding, I think it would improve the play area space to get the flagpole out of there and maybe put it on the steps or on the branding wall.
Yeah, put it right in the branding wall, just bury it right in the branding wall.
Shoot, that's the goal. That's where the ball,
That's what you're supposed to hit.
That's right.
Hit the flagpole. That's right, that's home base, that's right.
Okay, any other questions, comments for, all good suggestions here? Any other for Amanda?
So what are the thoughts on, Mike, what I was saying before about just extending the brick pavers out
Yeah.
far enough to the sidewalk, or were you thinking of?
And the A200 slide, it actually shows what you're suggesting. I don't know if that was a
Which one?
mistake, but slide A200.
Doesn't on mine unless.
No, it stops.
I mean, in mine it does. I mean,
Oh.
right here.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
I just wanted to address the comment about the pavers. This came up in our meeting last week, and one of the ideas that we discussed was if you point out the first tree right here, that tree, to the right of that tree, taking out these stairs and making this ADA accessible path there. And so when anyone who needed that access would be able to come out onto that traffic bump and go right across there to get to the sidewalk. And also it keeps students from going into that kind of weird space at the end of the sidewalk.
So you'd say, bring this path down, turn it in here,
Yeah,
and come
that's
out
kind
that
of
way?
what we talked about.
I think the stairs into the bioswale are just a little bit odd anyway.
Agreed, yeah, so that was our suggestion.
I think that's and adding an ADA defined access, I think that'd be great. I think you should keep the trees and
Yeah.
meander it between them.
Yeah, and it would take out a
Mr.
little
Swain,
bit.
would that address and then take out the pavers take out the sidewalk in this area and just make this sidewalk go like that?
Right.
So you take out that planter, or you?
No, leave that,
Leave the
but-
planter. Go between it.
Yeah, you would go between the planters.
We would remove the
Yeah.
stairs and replace it with a path.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I just think it needs to connect.
It's a
It
nice
needs
way
to connect.
enter.
That sidewalk needs to connect to this,
Yep,
where it
right.
just ends here. Yeah, so I think you do both. You get your ADA and your thing. I have just one more question for you. So what did the board think of the paint scheme?
Oh, they loved it.
Okay, so I met, with her and, Ehab, the principal?
Executive director.
Executive director, when they were talking about the paint, and we had a lot of different back and forth on the paint. These guys wanted to do something they didn't think the board would approve. I thought our board would like it more if we broke up the pattern a little bit, so I was interested to see. They love it now that
Yeah.
they've seen it.
Yeah, they really love it. It came out really nice, and we
Yeah.
appreciate that
I actually
encouragement.
texted him.
Yeah.
Remember I texted you, I was
Yep.
like, hey, I just drove by, the school looks
Yay.
really, I didn't even know that
Good.
it was gonna happen. I was like, they painted the school, looks really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brett was like, well, thank you.
yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, before we get to motions, is there any public comment about this applicant or for this applicant? All right, no public comment. All right.
All right, we got a number of things here, right?
Yes.
So what did we talked about? Enlarging the tree planters, maybe making them rectangular, bumping them out from the wall, right, to create a breakup on that long wall. We talked about adding some kind of temporary sign or plaque to that end wall for now, and maybe with staff approval on whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we talked about the solution to connect the sidewalk to the pavers.
Yes.
You know, maybe between those two planters, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 220020 Amana Academy, a motion to approve the site and landscape changes as presented with the following conditions. Applicant will enlarge the tree planters by making them rectangular. The tree planters will also extend out about 6 inches from the wall on the, which side is that?
That would be south.
On the south side, to break up that wall. Applicant will connect the walkway to the paver area as discussed today by removing the stairs between the last 2 planters and connecting it through the fire retention area. And applicant will add some type of temporary sign or plaque to the wall on the east side with final approval by staff.
Before they move. Yeah, it just needs some refinement.
And the motion?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Ms. Palmer. Any comments or questions about the motion?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So regarding the sidewalk connection and going through the bioswale area and across to the crosswalk, Brett and DRB, would you be willing to look at another option to that, which is a little more direct and more lineal for a sidewalk connection to that building without making this circuitous S-turn? Because the reality of it is, if somebody's on that sidewalk, nobody's going to go left to go right again. So would you be willing to let the design team get together and solve that in a more lineal fashion to get them from A to B versus?
Yeah, I think
A to
it's
B
the
to C to
same
D?
thing we deal with when you stripe a pedestrian path in a parking lot.
Right.
It's like, what's the best path to get there, and ending it like it does currently wouldn't, I don't think that would, yeah, so I just think it needs, I agree with Mr. Schwing that this sidewalk here needs to connect better to the pavers.
Absolutely.
Or at least to that raised speed table where.
Or
it's
to the speed
clearly
table.
a pedestrian
Yeah,
zone,
exactly.
crosswalk.
Yeah, I was originally just thinking you extend that paver area far enough to, you know,
Which he
It's
showed
a little more
100, so I don't know.
detailed than just extending that ramp into the drive aisle. Then you start getting these ups and downs, but I think the design team can get together and solve that exact thing that you're after.
Much more coherently than it is now.
right.
Do you see how it keeps? Oh, yours doesn't. Mine does. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally open to alternative solutions, and, you know, and if staff is comfortable approving it, I'm okay with that. If they want to bring it back to us, that's okay too. But I think the objective is that, you got the objective, right? Connect the
Absolutely.
sidewalk to the.
Just make it a
the
more
crosswalk.
coherent connection to the site.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just
Okay.
going.
Yeah, that's what it should.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Any
Right,
other
yours looks
questions?
Weird. Is there 2 A200s?
No idea. That's weird.
All right, no further questions. I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 6-0. All right. Thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. All right.
Have a good weekend.
Good, good. You too. Thank you.
Mr. Corkle, just make sure this doesn't get over 12 inches so we don't have to write you a violation.
Okay.
Alex is like,
All right. Next applicant is 201 and 205 Marietta Street. Come on down, or come on up, please.
And I have been told, Mr. Chairman, that we're just looking at 201. 205 will come back later.
Oh, this is just for 201 Marietta Street.
201.
Okay, very good. All right.
Chairman, board and members, my name
right.
is Fergal Brady, 511 Veranda Court. Here to present some design elements for 201 Marietta Street. Give you a little color and a little background before we kind of get into details. So also want to introduce Jonathan Love, our architect. Randy Schultz with T. Olive will be the builder. Purchased this lot about a year ago. It was a remaining.
Fergal, hang on just a second. Sorry, let me interrupt.
Yep.
I assume Mr. Corkle's going to recuse himself?
He is.
Okay. All right. All right, very good. Mr. Fergal's recused himself from this applicant, so, all right, Fergal, sorry about that.
That's quite all right. Absolutely. A little history of the property. Bought the property about a year ago. It was a leftover piece of property with Windsong Townhomes located on Marietta Street. It was left over with an entitlement of about 7 townhomes. Went and re-entitled that down and downsized the density to 2 single-family homes with the idea of creating 2 luxury city homes on the property. Those were approved, went through Planning Commission, City Council, and we've retained our LDP, and we're currently working on the site. So the presentation today is really the design elements that kind of get pulled in under the downtown zoning for residential. And normally this is a commercial body, and understand that. So today is just a residential elements to kind of take a look at. There's no site plan, there's no landscaping, all those elements have already been approved. So the presentation today is that manner. So to give you a little bit more, is the idea is looking at the 2 lots and really kind of understanding the configuration of these lots. About almost 70 feet wide, 120, 140 deep. So it kind of gives you a little bit more of a tighter package on the width of it. So the idea is kind of driving around Alpharetta is how can we kind of create similarities of currently what's in place with the design standards of Alpharetta. And one neighborhood stuck out as 12 on Canton, and the picture you'll kind of see on the front was an inspiration is kind of to kind of take those design elements that we had. The lot is very similar in shape. The home kind of rectangular, also kind of creating the box on the property, portico share, driveway, motor court, garage in the back. Those were all the design elements that we wanted to kind of put into play. So as you see the inspiration, obviously we have a different design, but wanted to kind of give a visual interpretation of what this will kind of look like. Plan on coming back to 205, which will be an Italianette design right next door, and currently in negotiations for buying the property across the street and maybe designing 3 more homes there. So the idea is kind of creating a luxury city home enclave at the end of Marietta Street. So the Wexlers are going to kind of come in. They bought their property from the Suttons. They're going to put one there and kind of create now 6 homes at the end of that. So kind of converting office, commercial, which is outdated, hadn't been there, utilize the amenity source of Wills Park and kind of have that as a destination. So to get into the design, I'd like to introduce Jonathan Love, the architect. He can kind of go through these points and be happy to answer any questions as he's finished.
Good, thank you, Fergal. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, I'm Jonathan Love of 3 Elks Design. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your service, for committing time and being on a board. I serve on a similar board in the city of Hapeville down by the airport. So if you ever find your way down there on that side of town, the original Chick-fil-A Dwarf House has been demolished and rebuilt and been open for a few months. It's 3 times as large. I think it's the largest structure they're ever going to build. So come check it out. I'd like to encourage you. Also, second, I'd like to assure everyone that it was a pleasure working with Mr. Brady on the design of these 2 homes. He's very passionate about what the homes ended up at, and we're just going over the first one today, as Fergal mentioned. So just briefly, I'll go through the home's neoclassical style with a simple, elegant massing. We've got a symmetrical composed facade with a full-width front porch. The portico share also gives the home a wider presence from the street, while also creating a private motor court experience for the resident. The tall first-floor windows with transoms accentuate the evenly spaced column bays and the deeper cornice at both the front porch and the main roof of the home are indicative of the style and give the home a stately feel. Materials are as noted in this middle package. We've got a white brick on all sides of the home, gray asphalt shingles on the main roof with dark bronze standing seam metal roof on the front and rear porches and the portico share roof. We'll also have that same color on the gutters and downspouts. White trim, Pella Classic, white clad double hung windows. And then the front door and the porch ceiling will be a medium stain to kind of give the home a fresh look. We've got material samples if anyone has any questions to see those specifically, but right now
if you'll hold those up for us or tell us, just kind of give us an overview, a description of what you got.
Kind of the whitewash brick and the architectural shingle for the roof.
Okay.
Here's the white metal clad windows.
Okay.
The bronze, the CNC metal roofs.
Okay.
trim color.
All right. Pretty traditional.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd like to turn it back over and see if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
That looks nice.
What material are you using on those front steps going towards, to the sidewalk?
So the steps will be brick. On the top of it, on page 2, you got the heartstone. Similar, it's kind of like a concrete kind of pebbled, I don't know, call that kind of design that comes up. That'll lay on top of it where the porch is. But where you see from the street will be the brick.
They're not just plain concrete.
No. I forget what it's called, where it's like marble. You see the stone kind of comes up, pushes the stone to the top, polish it, so you kind of have more of a texture kind of look to it and feel.
For the floor of the porch, but
Yeah.
the risers of those steps will be the brick, the whitewash brick.
Okay. Is there a railing on the porch?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so the original ones, it doesn't require it by code. So we kind of dropped the house, and the elevations were kind of changing in the process. So we kind of took that down. It makes it more open to the street where you can kind of just walk up, be more inviting and more access. We didn't want railings and kind of have any confinement or restriction around it.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Anything else for?
What are the light fixtures? Do you know what those are yet?
Second page.
So we'll have gas. These will be kind of luxury homes with a gas kind of design, very kind of old South kind of feel to it. You have a kind of page 2 kind of shows a copper design, maybe at the front doors. Everything else will kind of have that dark bronze kind of uniformity where the gutters kind of go around, kind of framing up, maybe a light interior color, kind of a focal point of the front door. That'll kind of match up to the metal roof. They'll be over the porte-cochere. So you kind of take some of those design elements and kind of make them rich in nature. That kind of frames up the home and the brick. So the brick being lighter in color, windows being lighter in color, trim being lighter in color.
All the lights are real gas lanterns?
Yes.
They're all gas?
Yep.
One thing we're going to add, gas lights are beautiful, but oftentimes they don't put out a lot of light.
Yeah.
So we're going to put can lights in the ceilings of the share in the porch and put them on a dimmer, so that you can marry that light if you want to.
Right.
Just to kind of keep the
Gotcha,
feel
okay.
of the house the way we want it.
There's gonna be like a couple of these, correct? Next door to each other?
Correct.
3 or so?
Yeah.
Will there be any lights on the short brick posts at the end of the sidewalk?
Yes, a good question. I don't think it's pulled into our discussion yet to have that. Right now, I don't think it has it. You would have illumination that's currently already on the sidewalk path with those green pieces. So having dark bronze as part of the house, didn't want to have a contrast and have different lighting right there. Prefer to almost have like low voltage kind of going in where you have like landscaping accent lights instead of a light above the brick.
Will this be like a 1.5, 2 million-ish price point?
I think the exit on it's probably 2.6, 2.9.
Okay. The only reason I say that, I think it'd be cool to sort of, it's a beautiful home, but it'd be special to kind of jazz up that front walkway from the sidewalk, and maybe even almost framing it in, not necessarily with like little pebble stones or something, but almost it's kind of a European look, if you will. I think it would really make it special because the columns are very simple, the brick's beautiful, the porte-cochere is beautiful, but it's fairly simple. It'd be kind of, I think it'd be amazing if you could, just even in that walkway,
So,
make it a little.
I love your idea, and if you take it all the way to the back, I think the original watercolor concept is in here that we have, and we do have, and as part of the design elements for landscaping, if Mr. Corkill was here, he'd be telling you about it. He wanted bright pink grass in the front, by the way, but it has that Parisian feel, so we're trying to add that Parisian low boxwoods, kind of boxed in kind of hedges. That way it kind of defines it from the sidewalk, and so as you're walking the sidewalk, you kind of have an element of privacy, almost like a private garden, but a very European Parisian kind of feel with those low boxwoods. So I absolutely agree with you. That was the idea of kind of boxing it in and kind of make that very unique. And then within that landscaping, you'd have a lot of variety of different unique plants with different colors throughout the seasons.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it looks good. It looks like I believe I saw a future pool in here somewhere.
There's a pool in the rear.
But that's future. That's down the road. Just thinking about there's fencing probably that has to happen around it and things of that nature, so.
So at the rear, there is. So what the rear of the home exits out to kind of an outdoor living with a fireplace that's covered and very nice. And you kind of got I guess blue stone or something on the back. Then you kind of step down into kind of a pool area. And it's not Olympic size. This is kind of more of just a water feature, right? You kind of go in, and it's a wet pool, kind of a nice design. You can have some aesthetics with sound and things like that going for waterfalls. Very limited, but it stays within the profile of the home very well. And then we'll kind of have a lot of covering. So you have the garage that kind of comes back. And on the garage, it's a 3-car garage with a 2-car tandem on one side, then 3-car on the other side. That opens up kind of like a little cabana that'll have a roof, so you can be, cooking out there around the pool. So what that does is encases somewhat of a privacy element around it. And when the other home is built, it kind of grades the same thing of the element of that garage. So we wanted privacy around there. As you look to the left or the western boundary, you have Will's Commons, and they have probably some elevations on their home, kind of looking down from a sight line. So we wanted to make sure privacy in the rear was protected. In the back, we created a conservatory around a lot of trees in the back. So the idea with fencing would be encase a small area, and then you'd have like a 4-board that kind of matches more of an equestrian kind of style at the rear, where that's where a passive park kind of design.
Okay, very
Pool
good.
company will not fill the pool unless the fence is in place.
Yeah. Okay, very good. All right, any other questions for the applicant this morning? Is there any public comment about this application?
Just doing elevation of materials?
Yes, that's all, just
Thank you for your
elevation
patience, by
materials.
the way. This was my first design review, Boris.
You've done well.
You did
Well
fine.
done.
Normally, our team does this. I know we're coming in next week, next month for Village Park, but thank you.
You're a pro, you don't need the team.
Now, I have a whole new
Well,
respect
just
for design
come prepared.
and everything else. So thank
When
you.
you come prepared, it's a lot easier for all of us, so to
Great.
speak.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Somebody want to craft a motion? This will be just for 201 Marietta Street. It's exterior elevations and materials.
No, elevation materials.
Okay. I would like to make a motion for DRB 220003 for 201 Marietta Street that we approve the new construction material and elevations presented today. And a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Ms. Palmer. Any questions or comments about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 6-0. All right, thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Fergal.
Thank you,
Okay. There was one applicant that did not show up earlier, and that was Davison Homes. Well, I think an issue came up. They sent Brett a text. So Brett is going to be the presenter on Davison Homes. So Mr. Corkle can rejoin us for Davison Homes.
Does he have to?
Well, he doesn't have to,
I
but
think he wants to go get lunch.
if he wants to get a jump on lunch, I guess he could get a jump on lunch, but, all right. Brett,
Yeah, you have 8 minutes to present it. Ready, go.
all yours, Brett, for Davison Homes.
Okay, so we discussed this pretty well during workshop. Davison Homes is taking over the building of 217 South Main, where we looked last month at these townhomes for the families that were going there across the street from the Maxwell. So they came in and they have in the old standard book that we approved last month, there were some standards that were passed through from planning commission and that. Some of the specifics were solid oak doors, steel frame windows, things like that that were really in the historic realm. Davison Homes has done some products in some different places that resemble that, but aren't actually that defined thing. Such as, instead of the solid wood oak door, you've got a fiberglass door with a simulated wood finish. I think everybody's pretty,
Does that get any kind of sun on it? Because I had that and it faded the bottom half of my door.
it will have a little bit of sun, but there is a porch on each elevation, so.
Well, I have a porch too.
It sounds like they're
I have
concerned
a
about
full-
maintenance though, because they're changing
Yeah.
this from
You still have to, I have a wood fiberglass, this very door, and we actually ended up painting it. And I have a full front porch because the sun faded the lower half. So it's now painted red.
Okay, I have
So
a
it does
wood
still
front door,
require
it's worse.
maintenance.
Yeah, if it were a wood door, it's gonna be worse.
Yeah, I have a wood front door in the sun all the time. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision.
I had
Really.
two of them, and I don't have two of them anymore.
Yeah, it
They're
just does
fiberglass.
not hold up well.
But I'm guessing the HOA is going to mandate that, because they're talking about this for better maintenance, right? Yes. So,
But the thing too with the fiberglass door is you have to put a sealer on it. That's a little different type of sealer than a wood door, so to redo the stain
Yes, that's the one.
doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
Whereas like a wood door, it's a lot easier. That would be my only, and if something gets like, and my dog likes to jump up on it, and the whole top of the window part is now white because she's pulled off all the stain. So, I mean, it does, there will, if they think there's not gonna be maintenance on it, there will be maintenance. I mean, there's maintenance on anything.
Oh, there's
but,
still maintenance,
there will.
you know.
It should be better, though. You won't have the warping and whatnot.
That's true, very true, yes.
So the steel windows are the next thing. They've got a product, the YKK premium vinyls. They have, let's say, these are the premium vinyl windows, as an example. I mean, it's got the same look as those.
Is it the things called out in red or the things they're wanting to change, is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
So this Waterford stone, they initially called this out as
hard coat stucco?
It was gonna be hard coat stucco.
Yeah.
They wanna go to this actual stone. I think that's really good.
I think that's even better.
Yeah.
Improvement, yeah.
Yeah, yes,
So I think that one, that's
That's an improvement.
yeah,
that's an improvement.
yes, I
I
agree.
And I think that was the only,
The windows, the door, and the,
windows, the doors, and the stone.
So I noticed they're not even gonna allow wood doors now because they crossed it out. It's gotta be vinyl.
yeah, that's a good move.
So we need to make a motion to approve these changes. to the
Changes.
guidelines.
Change to the guidelines as
Well,
approved last one.
I'd just say approve the architectural guidelines that's presented today, right?
Oh, that's true.
Because this is like a new application we're hearing, right?
Okay.
Okay.
You might wanna check if there's any public.
Any public comment on this application?
That one in the back.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion on DRB 22018 for Davidson Homes that we approve the design guide as presented today.
Second that. That looks weird.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Ms. Rhodes. Any further questions or comments about the motion?
This one's okay.
There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Very good. Thank you for your time. All right. There being no further business and with no objection